Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome to the first ANP live stream of 2023. Hopefully, the first of many, many, many live streams. I'm looking to get back into doing one video a week again. I'm really looking to bring myself back to what I was before 2020 hit and my mental breakdown happened. So, a lot is happening. Expect a lot. Holy shit, did one of my videos go viral? Oh my god, a video that I did back in August called the Kaiju incident suddenly exploded. I have now 145,000 views on it, and I've gained over 1,500 subscribers from that one video. So because of that, I'm probably going to be doing more history videos coming up. So it's a mixture of that and Star Trek, I guess, are my two things now. Anyways, so joining me, because I always like to have a guest on the show, joining me, as per usual, is my good old buddy, old pal, Lucas Schloth. Say hi, Lucas.
Damn, I got the as per usual card. We are moving up in the world. Hi, everyone. It's me, Lucas. I've been here multiple times before, such as, for example, was the last one the extra matter space one? Was that the last one?
The last one was indeed the extra matter space one.
Yes. Yeah, that was a banger. So, yeah, hi, everyone. My background isn't history, but man, oh man, I can talk about kaiju and anime. That's my gimmick.
Well, that's what... Well, if I'm going to reveal some of the secrets right now of AN Productions, it looks like that's what these live streams are going to be.
Yeah, that's fine.
These live streams are going to focus a little bit more on the Godzilla, the kaiju stuff, because I still do have an audience for that.
Oh,
clearly.
Yeah.
And people like to tune in to that. But in terms of monetization, in terms of making money and stuff like that, because I make enough money now per month that I can now make this my part-time job.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And I am super excited for that. I really am.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna see where that goes, which would be great because now my actual job working for ABC.
Flexing over here.
I am flexing.
No, you should though. That's great. That's great.
I just about shit myself when they called me up and said, "Hey, do you still want a job?" And I'm like, "I would love a job." But yeah, so that's why I had to move to Maine. Everybody.
Yeah.
But it's
you're in Stephen King land.
I think I am actually. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think he lived in the Bangor area, which is like 2.5 hours north from here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what those.
So if any of you watching are from Portland, Maine, or the Old Orchard Beach, Maine area, hit me the fuck up. Let's hang out. But anyways, new year, new you, new me, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me at least, I know, Adam, unfortunately last year wasn't the greatest year for you.
No.
But for me, obviously, yeah, no, I know. But for me, unfortunately, I guess that it transitioned over to me because 2022 was possibly like, early 2022 was bad. I'm not gonna even front that, but March, like kind of like early March into the rest of the year was like, oh shit, we're kind of back on track to doing things again. And that's pretty good. So I've been very happy about that.
Well, I'm happy you're streaming now too. Like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before, but I'm actually very happy that you're streaming. And
thank you.
I love streaming. I love doing live streams. Hence why people think I've been neglecting the ANP channel, and it's because of how much I've been streaming. I stream like 1 or 2 times a week on the War of Rights channel just because of how much I freaking love that game.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping 2023 will be the end of the slump, because ever since 2020, it has been awful. You know, it's just been one thing after another. I'm like,
I mean, that was for me, like, that was like, my slump was like, I gotta be honest, it was like the started basically like college graduation was when like my slump really like, hit in hard.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. But like that was so great about 2022 is that like I'm doing things again, which is the biggest accomplishment for me, was that I'm doing things again. Is that I'm drawing, I'm streaming now, which is a whole new frontier for me to go into, and like I'm not getting like Mr. Beast numbers, but I don't care. I'm just having fun. Like,
well, there you go. Well, there you go. Like,
yeah.
And you know, that's just so funny that we've been like opposites, because 2018, 2019, and the first part of 2020 were like my golden age, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was streaming once a month. I had one video coming out per week, and I was growing pretty steadily.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to bring that back really bad. I want to do a live stream the first of every month if I can, the first Saturday of every month. That might change because of what it looks like my schedule is going to be. Mondays might unfortunately have to become my day now to do things, which is unfortunate because then I'll probably lose people like you and Antonio and stuff like that just because of their schedules, your schedules.
Do you mean streams in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, is like even though Mondays are my long days, I can make time for it. It's just I would not be like free until like. Actually, kind of like the time we're starting now, the more I think about it.
Yeah, well, I probably start at these times. I'm pretty happy. I used to start at 9 p.m. and then I'm like, nah, that's a little too late. Let me start at 8 p.m. That tends to be a good time to start everything.
Yeah.
It all is just going to depend on what my schedule is, because it looks like I'm going to be doing the overnight shifts for WMTW, which is okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay as long as I get paid.
Yeah.
But well, the thing is with them working for WMTW is right now I'm working 5 days a week because of the amount of training that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it'll go to 4 10-hour days a week. So I'll have 3 days off in a row, essentially.
Okay.
Which is awesome. I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so Lucas.
Hi. That's me.
I finally caved. After much procrastination, I watched a little show called Godzilla Singular Point.
Godzilla?
Godzilla.
You said Scylla, like with a C.
Oh.
Godzilla.
Well, at least I didn't say Godzilla.
Yeah, that's true. Or you can say Gigantus.
Or Gigantus. Gigantus, the fire monster. Oh, man. I remember in the Godzilla saga, one of the old lores in that is that the female versions of Godzillas were referred to as Gigantus.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, no, thanks. Just get rid of that horse shit. Though I will admit, I think Gigantus is a badass title. Like a badass name.
It's a cool title, but it's not Godzilla.
It's just not Godzilla.
No.
But boy howdy, did I watch Godzilla Singular Point.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's a good way to open the Singular Point portion.
that was a lot.
Yeah, it's so I mentioned this to you before. I forget who wrote the show. His history of writing is like Japanese sci-fi novels, and I'm talking like and from the show you can tell like hardcore like sci-fi, like hyper specific sci-fi.
Well, that's like all sense. The show was. Like, I was watching this and I was like, my God, this is like the final season of TNG and all of Star Trek Voyager, where it's nothing but technobabble the entire show. And I like my technobabble. I do. I love it when characters sound like they know what they're talking about, and even if we don't. Like, if they know what they're talking about, I tend to get on board with it. One of the reasons why several parts of Evangelion works so well is that they have these moments where it's just info dump. And they always have
the Lanceologinous.
Yeah, oh my God.
All these terms being thrown out left and right.
Who the fuck is that? What's Adam now?
What's Adam? Adam's who?
Wait, Lilith what? But yeah, I will say this. Actually, you know what, Lucas? Why don't you go first? When you first watched it? Because again, you watched it a while ago.
Oh yeah, I watched it like the week it came out.
Yeah, the week it came out. So... Because of course it is. You're clearly a bigger Godzilla fan than I am.
I would not go that far. There are things I do not know that you know. I will not take that card from you, sir. I know a lot, but not as much as you do.
What were your overall thoughts?
So I'm gonna give you my exact statement of Godzilla Singular Point. Godzilla Singular Point is a good show that made me feel fucking stupid. All right, we got that out of the way now. Like,
wow.
I think it was a cool show overall. It definitely was one of the most like. This doesn't really feel like Godzilla things I've consumed. That's an official Godzilla thing. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. But there were definitely times where I'm like, is this a Godzilla thing? it's at times. But I overall enjoy it as a piece, but as I said, there is so much science babble in the show to the point where I felt like an idiot, I'll be honest. Like I felt stupid. But like I think there's some pretty good heights. Also, I think the opening fucking slaps.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it's something
I don't like anime openings. Very rarely do I like anime openings. I like the one for this.
Oh yeah, I thought this one was great.
Yeah.
Both the music and the visuals I think were awesome. What else? Like I overall liked most of the designs in the show. The only one I didn't really jive with that well was Rodan, because I feel like they went too pterodactyl with it.
Yeah, I would agree. Sorry for the pause. I thought you were going to continue.
Okay. No, I wanted to know your true take, because I know it's like you said this, and I even agree with you. It's like it's very similar to Gauss.
It is Gauss.
It's very Gauss.
The only thing they even do, like they put their energy in like a giant, bigger one. It was a mixture of Gauss and Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I liked it.
I think Anguirus is a super cool design, even though it's just like basically it's Anguirus but enhanced.
It's actually he looks far more like a pointy Ankylosaurus, which was the original inspiration for Anguirus anyways. So I'm like, okay, I like this. They made him terrifying. I'll say this. They made him terrifying. And I was like, cool.
They made also, like, everyone thought it was Gabara, but his name is actually Salunga.
I wanted to get into that.
I think it's still very inspired by that design. I think there's it's inarguable that it's supposed to be that design, but they just gave it a name.
Yeah. Why didn't they just go with Gabara? They could have used anyone else. I still think it's Gabara. I don't care what they say. I still think it's Gabara. Yeah. And just out of curiosity, I synced Gabara's roar on top of that thing, and I just added a little reverb.
Ooh.
And boy howdy, does it work, and does it terrify you, as it should.
Yeah.
Because I love that thing of it climbing up, and they're trying to close the gates while they're running, trying to get out of there. I'm like, that's great shit.
I also think I thought it was cool that they went with like the style. I mean, it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think it made sense for the story they were telling. They went with the style of like Godzilla's evolving, similar to how it happens in like Shin.
Well, let me say my overall thoughts, and then we can start getting into more of those details. Sorry. Like, how dare you just jump the gun like that, Lucas? How fucking dare you?
I'm gonna keep firing it from the hip.
Hey, Justin, glad you could join. So, I said to you earlier, Lucas, I thought Godzilla's Singular Point was not a great show, but it was certainly a good show.
Okay.
Like, if I was to grade it from 1 to 100, it would probably have a solid 85. 85%.
That's actually still pretty high from what you're describing.
Well,
like,
to me excellent is 90 and up. Excellent is like 90% and up.
Okay.
And good is basically anything from a C+ to a B+.
Okay, actually, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
that's just tends to be how I rate things, anyways. I tend to rate them like people grade schoolwork. But I really enjoyed it. I've said this before as well, and I'll say it again here. I love the fact that while America reduced Godzilla to its most basic form with the Monsterverse and really dumbed the character down to the point that it's just a paper-thin outline of what we could get. I love how the Japanese are experimenting like there's no tomorrow with what Godzilla is, what it could be. Does it really always need to fit something? They're really experimenting, for good and for bad. I praise the anime trilogy for experimenting and their experimentation, even though I think quite a bit didn't land. I was like, well, at least we were getting something new. This is interesting, at least, in the very least. And I have that similar opinion of Singular Point, except I think it lands a little bit better on everything but Godzilla himself.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And, like, I love this world that they're setting up, or that they did set up. I loved all of that. Clearly inspired by Shin Godzilla in more way than one.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine, because Shin Godzilla certainly did something new with Godzilla as well. And I like even when it comes down to like the doctor that mysteriously disappeared and everything like that. That was also in Singular Point. Godzilla evolving, that's from Shin Godzilla. I liked all that though. Like I liked the universe that was establishing. what I admired about Singular Point is while Shin Godzilla tried to be as grounded in reality as possible and said, despite these couple of fantastical elements, everything else is in reality, which is very similar to the original Godzilla, by the way.
Yeah.
Godzilla's Singular Point took those crazy ideas and just said, go, run with it, and let's enhance upon that idea. And boy, howdy, did I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the first episode, I was captivated like there's no tomorrow. Like, what the fuck is happening? Why is there this song that's playing?
Yeah.
What does this all mean? Like, I was having a hard time following it. Clearly done with intention.
Yeah.
And I really like that. My problems with Godzilla Singular Point, to really sum it up, is that it is clearly inspired by Hideaki Anno and Evangelion. You know, the Red Sea, the angels trying to make Earth a little bit more like their environment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is all present here. What this show needed, more than anything else, is it needed to act more like Evangelion. And that it needed to slow the fuck down. It needed to let these characters breathe. It needed to flesh them out in order for me to properly care about them. That, and the other thing, too, is Godzilla himself. He has so little... I usually never complain about this. But he has so little screen time that... And he's so not Godzilla. Like, his design is right, his roar is right, and everything like that, but it didn't feel like Godzilla. Like, there's something missing with Godzilla himself, which if they do a season 2, I hope they can play with that a little bit more. And maybe you can flesh Godzilla out a bit more. Personally, I don't know if they've confirmed if there's a season 2 or going to be a season 2 or not.
I feel like I remember hearing they did confirm.
I remember hearing that too. Hopefully somebody in the comments
don't we end on a
could
cliffhanger
confirm.
too?
We do, with mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And I'd be okay if there was just one season of this. I really would be. Like, I'm like, this is a good self-contained story. It was flawed, but it told itself pretty damn well, to the point that by the final episode, I was pumped. I wanted to know where this was going, where this was ending. And personally, I thought the conclusion was satisfactory, which is hardly ever possible. You know, everybody has all these ideas and everything, that suddenly the conclusion, you're like, oh, how the fuck do we wrap this shit up? And I thought the show handled it very well. It was a good show. I highly enjoyed it. I know a lot of diehards out there didn't enjoy it because they thought it was too radically different. I'm like, well, that's because it's an anime, and anime, if there's any visual genre or, you know, that I say you could really deviate from the norm, it's an anime, you know? Like, don't necessarily do live action.
It also comes from a place that, like, because this is something I've personally, like, have just accepted at this point. I just don't even, like I for, like, a basic, I hate to use this term, Adam. When it comes to fandom stuff, I hate that term so much. I really have grown to just very, like, hear the basic reaction to something, but then still go ahead, and that was just obvious, still go ahead and form my own opinion on it, because people are just so, like, angry about every little thing, and it's just like, look, man, if this one didn't land for you, I'm sure another part of this will land for you.
Well, it's not like you have 32 other movies.
Yeah,
it's
like multiple eras of other media you can consume from this product. And, like, I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect. Like, I mean, like, there are some franchises, Pokemon, that if you bring it up to me now, I'm just like, fuck off. Like, don't even fucking talk to me about this. But with Godzilla, I've always appreciated difference. I've always appreciated, like, change, and like, even as I've gotten older, and, like, the movies I would have made fun of, like for example, like Godzilla's Revenge, like, that movie's it's not a good movie, but I at least appreciate that it's something different, and at the time period made sense to come out.
Sure, I agree with you. Actually.
I don't think it's I do not. I want it on record. I don't think that's a good movie.
You and I can agree there.
Yeah. But then it's like, you know, later on you get stuff like GMK. It's like, that's completely different.
Completely different. Yeah, and
it's fucking.
You know what? I've noticed that too. A lot of the people who were bitching about Godzilla Singular Point praised GMK, and I'm like, guys, GMK is a very similar situation where he took what was an established character, threw it out the window, and tried something new.
Not just one established character, like
multiple,
Ghidorah.
like making Ghidorah a good guy.
A good guy, like what?
And somehow he made it work.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is great. This is great.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like people will always constantly yell that they want change, and then when some kind of change happens, even if it's not like a good change,
Star Wars,
but like The Last Jedi. If it's a bad, and if it's a bad change, but if it's actually a good change, people will still complain about it because it's not. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing the thing we do all the time? And I'm like, well, you wanted something different. I don't like. What do you want? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Make up your mind. Like, I don't know, man.
And boy, well, I could say this. I like Singular Point enough that like I watched it all. I binged it all in one night because I didn't want to stop. And I can say that more for Godzilla Singular Point than I could for the anime trilogy.
I think Singular Point, despite being complex, is a lot easier to consume compared to those anime movies.
I do too.
To be honest.
Also, I loved the animation in it.
Oh yeah,
I love the animation. I heard a lot of people complaining about the mixture of 3D elements with the 2D elements. That didn't bother me on this one. I was shocked.
People do that all the time. Like they for some reason discredit 3D animation as if it's not as valid as 2D animation. Well, yeah, 2D animation definitely takes more skill and prowess to do. That shouldn't discredit 3D animation at all. Something this and the 3D animation in this was good, and it worked because like the monsters and like the robots were 3D and everyone else was 2D. It's a nice contrast. I like stuff like that personally.
See, I noticed that too, and I was like, this works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved all that shit, and you know what I also liked about this going more into the experimentation route as well. They chose very obscure kaijus, like, with a couple of exceptions. Of course, you got Rodan and Anguirus in there, but like Kamunga, Kamacuras, and then Hedorah has a little cameo in there too.
Hedorah has a cameo?
Yeah, it's the slime thingy that when they kill the spiders, the slime thing turns into Hedorah.
I never actually made that connection, yeah.
And
there's Manda too.
Manda, I forgot about that. Titanosaurus kind of thing. Titanosaurus kind of turns into Varan for a moment.
Yeah, well, those are definitely probably intended references, if anything.
Yeah,
too.
If anything, but yeah. You know, I enjoyed all that stuff. I really did because it kept me going. Okay, what's going to happen next? And I applaud the show for doing this. I genuinely do. As said in some of the comments already, Lava, you wrote, my personal opinion was that it was good, but it was way over descriptive. Yes. Yeah,
that's a pretty safe. I can agree with that.
What is that thing called that is supposed to kill them?
The orthogonal diagonalizer. I might be pronouncing the second part wrong, but if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. They say it a lot.
You couldn't have made a simpler title than that, or you could just say that and then just dumb it down. You know, and make it like an acronym for it or whatever. But you know,
we gotta know they're using the orthogonal diagonalizer.
I loved the concept of the archetypes, though.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I loved how they never tell you what all of them are. You know a few of them, but not all of them. In fact, to the point that I think probably some of the kaiju are considered an archetype. But I loved that shit. Like, I was like, this is intriguing enough that I want to learn more. And I applaud any show that has that. And you know what? This is going to sound really weird, but hear me out. I love the fact that the show just said, fuck it, everybody's speaking Japanese no matter what their nationality or race. They didn't bother to have people speaking English or Indian, where the acting was probably terrible.
I never made that connection.
There's no bad English in this show. They just said, fuck it, they're all speaking Japanese. And I'm like, you know what? We're mature enough that I think we can buy it. And I would rather have them speaking very good Japanese and acting very well than distracting English. That even Shin Godzilla suffers from. Though Shin Godzilla is nowhere near as bad as, let's say, Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
or the wonderful depiction of New Yorkers from Final Wars.
Well, that's the sad thing is
accurate.
That scene in Final Wars, which always makes me laugh. It's a big birdie.
It's funny as fuck.
That scene is only one scene. right? And it's not really important to the movie on the whole. The difference is on Biollante, entire sequences, which are important to the plot and development of the movie, are English. Bad English, to the point that I can barely understand what they're saying. And that's really distracting. Really distracting. And it did. It took me out of Shin Godzilla as well. And I just love what the show said. No, fuck it.
nah, we don't do that.
Screw it. I love the design of Godzilla Ultima. I love that design.
Ultima, I think, is great. I think that's such a cool design.
That is a cool ass design.
The tail is fucking huge. Like, I just feel like Godzilla's tail is increasing with each incarnation. It's just getting longer and longer.
Yeah. I agree. The other issue that I have, it's not really so much an issue. I think it's just very Japanese. Japan, Western films or stories in general tend to have a single protagonist that they kind of follow throughout the entire thing. Well, I've noticed in Japanese movies in particular, they tend to have a series of protagonists that you follow. Like there's like one character that tends to stand out above the rest, but for the most part, it's a series of main characters. And Singular Point is no exception. And Shin Godzilla does the same thing, where you have that one character. Don't get me wrong, but it's really sprinkled out over several characters. Even though you could have easily combined them into several of them and sort of into one character, instead of there being three characters that you could combine them into one character. Well, Japan, they don't seem to care about that. They just said, well, we're just making a new character. I'm okay with that. I actually kind of like that. To me, that adds a level of believability to the whole thing. Even if you don't, and this is sort of the benefit of an anime too, I think, as well. Even if I can't remember their names, I recognize the faces and the designs. Yeah. And that really helped a lot in Singular Point.
I really liked the relationship between Mei and Yun.
Me too.
It's like the main boy, the main girl. How they were like, they kind of just find each other, and they're figuring this out like through text and stuff through a good portion of the show, and that's how they're bonding.
Oh my god, I loved those scenes where it's just the texts, them texting each other and the text on screen. I was like, I didn't think they could make that intense, but they did.
Yeah, and then you eventually too, and like the way they talk to one another through those texts, you see eventually they kind of warm up to one another. They're sending like more emojis than normal, like they're being like doing jokes with one another too. Well, I thought that,
and I like the fact that I loved that shit. I loved that just a little bit like that was just fine. If I remember correctly, she died, didn't she? She died in the show off screen.
No, Mei lives.
No. She does live.
Yeah, I believe she's still alive. Yeah,
can't remember.
It was Mei's like mentor who died.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
you're right.
Wait, no, yeah, they meet up at the end and like celebrate the victory and everything too.
I will ask you this right now. What did you think of the AI?
Woo! Yeah, I was waiting for that. Oh, I fucking love Paleops too. He's fucking great. I love him. There's no way to put it besides that.
The thing that she has on her phone.
Yeah, the little dog guy. I love him.
I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought I was gonna hate it. Boy, howdy did it grow on me as it went along. Yeah. And I also like how this thing doesn't come out of nowhere. It is quite established that in this particular world, AIs are far more advanced than what they are in our timeline to begin with. Yeah. And I liked that. I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the integration. What was the one? Was it the same thing that that takes over Jet Jaguar?
Yeah, Paleops 2.
Yeah, I loved that. I didn't think I would.
Because he gets too smart because he learns the code and then it's like, oh shit, wait, that's like the big twist at the end.
Yeah, and I liked all that. I also found the juxtaposition really funny, where it was like this really sort of high-pitched voice coming out of this big robot. Clearly done for a bit of comedic effect, and it made me chuckle, and I liked it. I liked a lot of it, and it, again, a lot of my issues just come from the fact that it just needed to let these characters breathe a bit. It needed to let them just be them. Like, I miss my long shots of Shinji just walking, and there's it's a static shot that goes on for 5 minutes of Shinji just walking, and nothing's happening. It's just letting us sit here and digest what has happened and process
where's the elevator
info.
scene? Where's the elevator scene that's like a still image where someone will just sniff it in every few seconds or so? I want that.
Where's my train? You know? I still love that.
Where are the cicadas?
I love that when fucking the Shin Kamen Rider trailer came out, even before anything happened, I was like, I knew this was a Hideaki Anno movie because there's a train.
It's like the first shot, isn't it? Like
yeah,
the first
it's
shot
like
of the trailer
shot. I was like, "Yep, this is a Hideaki Anno movie."
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
you know, Quentin Tarantino has feet.
You don't need to say anything.
Hideaki Anno has his trains.
Ah, yeah. The juxtaposition of feet and trains. All right, kids, what's the common relation between feet and trains? They're director quirks.
Oh my god, I love this. It was, all jokes aside, I really enjoyed a lot of it. The problem is that a lot of the characters started blending together for me. Kind of.
I think one of the things that I think they do introduce too many characters.
There are too many.
I remember the main crew. You know, so you got Yun, you got Goro, you got Haberu, and then you have Mei and Pelops too. Everyone else, like who are like more like the government characters, I can't remember.
There was an army guy too. There's a guy in the JGSDF that I can't remember who he was, especially towards the end where they were trying to attack Godzilla Ultima and everything like that. Yeah. And I also want to say this as well. This show handled that it was the apocalypse or catastrophe, as it's mentioned in this. It handled it very well. And I liked the fact that because these kaijus and them coming into our reality and them almost terraforming the Earth to be like their reality.
Yeah, yeah.
I love how there's several shots in this show where you just see the red off in the distance.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's
cool.
And
it created a great atmosphere.
Yeah,
that we are on a severe ticking time bomb. Even before we know we're actually on a ticking time bomb. And I applaud it for doing that. You could definitely tell that a sci-fi writer was in charge of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the moment I didn't know that until you told me about it. And I was like, suddenly it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I was told by a friend too, and I had the same reaction. I'm like, that makes so much sense why the show was written the way it is. Like,
well, it's odd because I don't know anyone that really worked on this film. Like, I was checking on IMDb, like I haven't seen anything else.
What studio did this? I actually don't.
I thought it was Toho Animation.
It was Bones. Oh shit! How did I forget that? So Bones, Studio Bones does My Hero Academia, but more importantly to me, which I like My Hero, but they did Mob Psycho 100, which is like my second favorite anime of all time, which just finished.
Another reason why I have you on this show. You're an anime guy, I am not.
Yeah, I know like the studios I really like, and I really like Bones, and I really like Trigger.
My favorite one is the company that did Attack on Titan, and I don't care what anyone says.
That is Mappa. Mappa's also really good. Mappa did Chainsaw Man. Like,
if somebody said, Adam, you need to make an animated Godzilla series, I'm going with the Attack on Titan one.
Well, I mean, like, if like I could shape reality, my dream would be to make my personal project and have it animated by Studio Trigger, but we got a long way to go.
We got a long way to go.
A long way to go, if that's ever gonna happen.
Again, I didn't have any problems with the animation. In fact, I had significantly less issues with the animation on Singular Point than I did in the anime trilogy.
No, yeah, I think because, again, Singular Point commits to monsters, monsters, unearthly things being 3D, and then humans being 2D. I think
commits is a good thing is a good word you just used.
Yeah.
Because I can say this far more than the Monsterverse. Boy, howdy did Singular Point commit to its idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's another reason why I enjoy it.
Yeah, like, it said, nope, we're going.
Yeah.
And, there's stuff in the show where I'm like, I didn't think it was going to work. I thought it was going to drag, and then it wound up being some of my favorite moments in the show. Like, the whole Kamanga thing. and they find the dead manda washed up on the beach, and they think like Godzilla killed it, but then they discover like, no, it's been eaten already.
Yeah,
something's eating it.
Yeah,
and then they discover like the spider web and everything like that. And I loved that entire bit. I loved that entire episode.
Another thing about this world I liked too was how like these kaiju were getting their names not by like scientists, but it was just kind of becoming the pop, like social media and the populace were naming them. They were like, it was like people are calling these things Rodans on the internet, and that's what they slowly accept that as the names of these creatures. I think that was really cool.
Well, it almost makes you wonder if Godzilla was in this universe beforehand.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Where it's like this meta kind of thing that's happening, and like this monster just kind of looks like Godzilla. Well, let's call it Godzilla. I don't think that's what it was at all. But
one of those fun to imagine things.
Yeah, and it's really when creators commit to the universe and are like, you know what? They don't question it. Like, they just go, we're not taking the middle of the road. We're going balls out on this idea. That I tend to buy it better. I tend to appreciate it more. Final Wars.
Yeah. That commits to being just off the wall the entire time.
Absolute insanity. Absolutely.
Pays off, too.
And it does. 100%. I used to hate that movie as a kid. Like, I used to hate it. And then all of a sudden, I watched Ryori Kitamura's, the director, his movie Versus, which is one of my favorite zombie movies ever. Yeah. And it's awesome.
Always so good stuff.
Only after watching Versus and then rewatching Final Wars did suddenly I go, I get it. And I love it. It took stuff like that. But yeah, let's see some of these fucking comments. My God. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. GMK Ghidorah is also the only one who's significantly smaller in size to his respective Godzilla. That is a good point, Justin. It means no matter what the universe is, the two will be arch enemies in one way or the other. Yeah, absolutely. I want to say Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991, kind of plays on that. Because that's kind of what because that's kind of what the movie's about. It's an examination of Japan's relationship to Godzilla, where he can be an absolute hero and a savior one moment, and then it's utter destroyer the next. It's a really good movie. The oxygen destroyer.
Orthogonal diagonalizer.
I like how there are some like alpha versions of the kaiju. Yeah, I did notice that as well. Yeah. That's cool. They definitely go around in this universe and say, you know what, there is a hierarchy to these creatures. There's, they really put thought into the monsters that I really liked a lot. Which is more than I can say for other stuff, Monsterverse. But it's.
Ooh.
I am. I'm throwing so much shade at the Monsterverse. I
know. Yeah.
I feel bad. Because I am excited for this new Kong thing that they're doing.
The Kong, Godzilla and Kong movie? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes. I thought they were doing a show. No, that's Disney.
Oh, they might be. Well, they're doing. So there's a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong coming out that's just called Godzilla and Kong, but there's also like a Monsterverse TV show for Apple TV or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm very like, I just need to see what this is first.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'll probably
watch it. I'm not buying Apple TV though. No.
Okay. Get back on track. God damn it.
Oh God.
Let's see. Interesting that there's no Ghidorah in Singular Point. Yeah, I was expecting Ghidorah to show up, and I'm glad he didn't. I feel his inclusion to the show would have been overkill, and I agree.
Yeah, I actually think that too.
I 100% agree.
I don't think it would have made sense.
No, I don't think it would have made sense either.
They were proposing Godzilla Ultima as like the ultimate destroyer of this universe, so I don't think it would.
It's like Batman and the Joker. You've always got to somehow fiddle the Joker into everything that you do. And I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah. No, you don't. Batman's got plenty of other interesting villains that you can play with.
Yeah, like the Crazy Quilt, or the Condiment King.
I'm trying to think of what was his name, Agent Tanaka from the '40s show. who he was a Japanese guy who was gonna blow up the West Coast or some shit. No, like, oh yeah, this was made during World War II. Hello there, guys. Hope you are all having a good good evening. Glad you can make us the Goji Shay.
Thank you, Goji Shay. We appreciate
Antonio,
it.
I hope you're wiping your nose.
Yeah, seriously, fucking cover up, Jesus, man.
But yeah, I you know, I just really enjoyed it, and it was good. Yeah. I was so happy to see something new. I really was. Like you have no idea how much I was just like, oh, I have no idea what's going on. I'm good.
I love the way you said that. Good.
Good. Well, it's because you know, one reason why I think I like this anime series too is that it didn't really have many of the tropes that I get tired of with anime. Like, it didn't have the over-sexualized characters.
No.
It didn't have big boobed ladies. You know, it didn't have a character screaming what she or he is doing while piloting a robot. Yeah. As much as I love Evangelion for doing that, but you know, it's just I really appreciated this world and everything that was in it and everything that was cultivating from it. It made me want to learn more, and I loved the mystery of that scientist there who sort of starts this whole thing. And I like how the archetypes themselves get into, and I love the physics of it too. I do. I love the physics.
I knew literally, Adam, this was like the one thing I knew for a fact that I'm like, you were going to like this solely because of this hyper specific science stuff. Like, I knew that when I first watched it.
And like, I wish I could do that in the Godzilla saga in great of detail as that. Like, I just love how it's hard science to a core. I love the archetype stuff where it's also in the present, but it's also in the past, but yet there's also stuff that's happening in the future. And I love how the only time you see that crazy scientist guy, who has been sort of the backdrop of the entire show, is in that one scene where the AI is trying to figure out what the code is.
Yeah,
that's the only scene you see him in, until the very end, of course, the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
But like, I love that shit. And it made stuff make sense. It tied a lot of shit together, almost like a Rubik's Cube, where it's like everything is slowly coming together and being manipulated in the right way. And I use the Rubik's Cube analogy because the archetypes are squares, these little tiny glass squares that they demonstrate within the first couple of episodes. And I'm like, I think I get what this is trying to do. And I also kind of admit that it doesn't treat the audience like an idiot either.
No, oh no. I think it's really mature for what the show is doing. Like, it doesn't like I know I've been joking about like how it like over explains stuff and doesn't like, but it doesn't like ham-fisted. It's not like a character is just like off screen going like an English guy. It's just something like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, so
the viewer.
It's not that guy from Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Rick Stanton.
Rick Stanton, thank you.
I hate that fucker. Nothing wrong. Nothing against the actor, but I hate that fucker.
Oh no, the actor. I love the actor. He played. He played in The West Wing, and he's amazing in The West Wing.
It's just like, my God, the way that character. I hate that character so much.
Boy, howdy. He also plays in. I think he plays in The Cabin in the Woods. That guy.
Does he?
Yeah, I think he's one of the scientists.
Shit,
or one of the facility people.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
That movie fucking rules.
Another thing I want to mention about Godzilla Singular Point before I forget it. The soundtrack is so fucking good.
Oh yeah. I think
it is so good.
Does it use the Godzilla theme at any
point?
point?
Yeah, it does. Big time.
I forgot if it did.
It almost overuses Godzilla's theme in a couple of moments, but then I'm like, oh yeah, it's a show. It's not. I know I'm binge watching it. You're not really supposed to binge watch it. I get it.
Well, you say that, but at the same time, they drop all the episodes all at once, and it's like, what are you trying to promote here, guys?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But boy, howdy, this soundtrack kick ass, and I
it was
have
good.
not heard any other score this guy has done.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that front, to be honest with you.
I have not heard anything else from this guy, and I'm like, what the fuck? I know nobody who's worked on this show. Absolutely nobody. Which made this a really good, fresh viewing experience. Granted, I think that helped my experience in it because I knew nothing going into it. Or I had no expectations going into it, I should say.
Which is like, to me, like that's always like one of the best ways to watch something. It's just go in, just raw dog it and see what happens. Truthfully,
did the old crazy guy and that really buff dude die?
No, they're all alive at the end.
They lived? Okay, I couldn't remember.
I gotta double check Goro because Goro was the older guy. I think they all lived
because when
I don't think any, like,
they
the main
jump,
cast.
when they make the jump and they release Jet Jaguar. I really like that scene in many ways because the character with the guy with the bluish gray hair.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah,
that's the main
character, and him saying like we've got to jump, we've got to jump, and everything like that. And I love the fact that the muscle guy knows that he's going to have to just let Jet Jaguar go while they make the jump, the dive, but he doesn't tell him because it's so clear that he knows that what's his name, Yoon?
Yeah, Yoon.
If Yoon knew what he was doing, he would protest.
Yeah,
but he does it anyways, and I like that. And it's stuff like that where I go, I wish I cared a little bit more about his character had they taken the time to make you breathe. This show, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this show could have almost benefited from having another 5 episodes just to sort of space shit out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Mist?
The movie? Yeah.
Did you get the Mist vibes out of portions in this film?
I don't think as much with it. Maybe more so towards the end of it, when like everything is really covered by
that.
Yeah, I think just mainly from there.
I also love the fact that the red stuff is so thick they have to wear gas masks.
Yeah,
I love
cool.
that
That's a
little
cool
detail.
Like,
yeah, I love that. I also love the fact that when they land on Godzilla has lice.
Yeah.
Which I know is a bit of a callback to Return of Godzilla.
Yeah.
But you never see that. And I love that detail.
That's what I appreciated about, guess what, everyone? Lucas is going to bring up Cloverfield. That's what I liked about Cloverfield, was that the monster just because it was a being that was in the ocean, just had like creatures that were like naturally feeding on its back.
Yeah.
And then when they'd come onto land, turns out they fuck with humans really bad.
Oh yeah, I've always loved that stuff, and I remember being confused by that concept forever. Like I thought that those were Cloverfield's babies, and only as I got older did suddenly I start going, oh no, he just has a bad case of lice.
Yeah, it's that, and like I also obviously like growing up, I watched a lot of animal stuff, so I know about like symbiotic relationships and stuff like that. So. Maybe that's not the term. I don't think symbiotic. I think that's one.
Symbiotic is where one creature relies on the other to properly coexist.
But are they harming one another though? Or because I know there's a relationship where it's like one that's parasitic is the other one I'm thinking then. Okay.
Yeah, because you're thinking of a parasite. They're like ticks.
Yeah.
Those are just annoying parasites that you need to kill any chance.
All right, cool. I was right.
But I love those details, and Singular Point is so full of that stuff. I really do. I know you complained that you didn't really care for the Rodan stuff. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like his first episode where that Rodan has no idea what the fuck is going on, and it is clearly just as freaked out over what everything and everybody as the people are.
Let me just clarify real quick. It's not that I didn't like it. It was more so I was talking more so from
a design standpoint. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think conceptually it's fine, and that stuff was cool. I agree with you on that. I just didn't like that. I feel like they leaned way too much into like the pterodactyl look to it. And it looks fun. For the record, it looks fine. I just I liked how Rodan was kind of like a hybrid, kind of like that, and also like more like bird in nature too.
I personally, again, and the reason why I think I bought it more than probably you did is just because I'm like, oh, something new.
Fair. No, that's fair.
I
got it.
I don't know. Because again, I'm walking a tightrope on that because I'm not a big fan of Fire Rodan. in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. I'm more of a fan of the concept than I am of the design and execution.
Yeah, I prefer Rodan more. I prefer naturally. I didn't really like the bright red on Fire Rodan. I just prefer like the brownish.
I prefer the brownish. Like that includes Godzilla Final Wars too. I don't really care for that design as well.
Is it Fire Rodan in Final Wars?
No, it's just a regular Rodan in that film.
Okay.
Just a regular Rodan. I love that sentence. But
as opposed to the Gucci Rodan.
Right. And I'll say this as well. I don't think Rodan has. I think Rodan's best appearance, best design, best execution is the original Rodan. I don't think he's ever been topped since the original Rodan in terms of both how lifelike he looked and how he moved, and also how terrifying that fucking thing is.
I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. I was also happy that they didn't include Mothra really in this. I mean, they kind of do with all the little tiny moths flying on second to last episode, I think. But I'm just glad that they didn't outright say, "Oh, it's Mothra." No, it's just a moth.
They
it's
didn't
just
like
a tiny thing that comes from this. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
They didn't play like the Mothra cry like they did in the anime trilogy at one point.
Yeah, they didn't need to do any of that either.
No,
I do appreciate this series for knowing when it needed to be. It dropped some fan service in there and when not to. And for the most part, they didn't really drop that much in there at all.
Not really. Yeah. It's not like they were like multiple characters going like, "Oh my God, is that Anguirus? We're calling that Anguirus now." And it's like, no, it's like, that's just what they call the universe.
Good.
Oh, it's great.
I
it's an awesome
love
episode.
that. You know what it reminded me of in some ways? It reminded me of Jurassic Park: The Lost World, where they were going after the Stegosaurus. I think it's a Stegosaurus.
Oh yeah.
I got that vibe from it, and I was okay with that. I was like, I liked that scene in that movie. I also love the relationship between Goro and that other old crazy guy, where they're just yelling and screaming at each other, but when the going gets rough, they're like buddy.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That was great. That was awesome.
I love that shit. I did. I really like that shit. I love those little details. If only it was the rule and not the exception. I think this show would have gone from a B+ to at least an A if they just fleshed these characters and let them breathe a little bit more. Like the main girl and her mentor, flesh their relationship out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. I want to care about these guys. I like these guys. I love the fact that I thought this guy was going to be the guy who is really doing the, what the fuck is it called? The orthogonal diagonalizer.
Yeah, there you go.
The guy who really plays with that, right? I love how the series kind of builds that he's going to be the bad guy, and he turns out not to be.
He's not really. He's just kind of doing his thing.
He's just doing his thing, and I think he's actually genuinely a good guy. He's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What the fuck was up with that girl's eyes, man? The old lady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was expecting there to be something where it was like she's actually from a different dimension, or she had traveled through one of the archetypes, and that's why her eyes are really weird and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the orthogonal diagonalizer,
yeah.
I love that scene where they have it explode in the pit, and it traps. I'm going to say it's Gabara. I know it's not.
It's fine.
I love that. The spikes go up through it. I'm like, that's really fucking cool.
That was a cool scene. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And I love it when Gabara escapes and stuff like that. And I love how they're shooting. They have the one rocket at it. I'm like, this is so much cooler than just having the army shooting at it, like we would normally get in a movie like this. And it adds a bit of a personal stake to it. That's one of the few things in Godzilla Final Wars where I'm like, this is really cool, is where we see those mutants and stuff like that climbing walls and shit and shooting lasers at Ebera and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is really cool in Godzilla Final Wars. And I'm glad they kind of did something similar in Singular Point. They added some personal stakes to it, other than just the military fighting these monsters.
Oh, I actually would like to add something really quick.
Yeah.
Because I just noticed it now. So the show was animated by 2 studios. It was animated, and I guess I'm going to just make the assumption on this. I think the 2D stuff was done by Bones, while the 3D stuff was actually done by Studio Orange, which Studio Orange did Beastars. I think you've
that
at
makes
the
a
very least
lot
you've
of
heard of it, right?
sense.
Yeah. That I'm thinking about that now. I'm like, yeah, that totally lines up. Actually,
that makes a lot of sense. I love Beastars.
Yeah. Beastars is great. Oh, Beastars is sick.
Beastars is everything Zootopia should have been.
Oh well, it's funny you say that because I do have a show that's kind of in that category too. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Does that make me a furry? Probably. I don't care.
Yeah, who cares?
But yeah, just really good. Very glad that I watched it, and upset that I put Singular Point off as long as I did.
Honestly, it's probably good that you did in a weird way, that you didn't take anything by like initial reaction. You had time to just let it stew. So when you were finally able to sit down and watch it,
well, I also want to be clear that I avoided any and all spoilers with Singular Point. Like I watched no reviews beforehand. I didn't read up on it, other than I wanted to find out who made it, and I didn't know anything going into it. I knew no spoilers. I avoided all of them, and I'm glad that I did. Yeah, because boy howdy was I on a ride. I also really liked. This is just a trope that I like in general. I love how there are two stories going on at once, and they slowly converge. And,
Adam, I can't wait to tell you about this one show. I can't wait to tell you about this one show. Actually, now that you say that.
Wait, what was that?
So no, there was a show I did want to mention on stream at some point tonight.
Oh, okay.
That I watched recently.
Well, I'm looking for new shows to watch. As some of you may have noticed, I watched Star Wars Andor recently.
I still need to watch it.
And boy howdy did that show piss me off. Not because it was bad, but because it was so good. Now I have no choice but to be invested in Star Wars again. I just got over Star Wars. And now here's the show that is everything I've always wanted Star Wars to be.
Yeah, I gotta give it a chance because I've been recommended by multiple people, including you, who's like opinions on this kind of stuff I really trust, and it's like, yeah, I should give this a chance then. If I'm hearing that from so many people, it's probably worth the time. Yeah.
Wow. So, unless you have anything else you want to say about Singular Point, I guess we can wrap at least this side of the conversation up.
I think I pretty much have said my piece with Singular Point. Whereas, again, I think it's pretty solid overall. And if they do a season 2, I would be excited to see that. I'm just not sure. Like, again, I feel like I haven't. I sometimes feel like I've heard they're going to do a season 2, and then they haven't. So like, I don't know.
Granted, the pandemic and everything like that.
That's also true.
You know,
that's a good point.
I was very glad that I watched it. I know I liked this movie more than a lot of Godzilla fans did, and I don't give a fuck because
hell yeah.
Quite frankly, I don't think the Godzilla fans know what's good for them anymore. I think they get.
Hey, Adam.
What?
Adam, that's me in Pokemon.
I believe that full-heartedly. Yeah, I want to say that's Antonio and Sonic too. But and the reason why I say that is just because I'm so glad that this was an entirely new take on Godzilla. And as I've said before, I do think that they should have integrated Godzilla more and have him do more than just be on screen for literally only 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I do think Godzilla is one of the weaker aspects of the show. But the universe itself was so interesting and so cool and left me wondering and wanting more in a good way.
Yeah.
That, to me, it overshadowed that lack of Godzilla. However, I do agree with the criticism, though, that I've seen, and that is they've gone so radical in a new direction with Godzilla in this case that it might as well not have been Godzilla. It could have been any monster. And I do kind of see that argument. I really do.
I can agree with that too, actually, to be honest.
But just because it was a new take, I think I was able to forgive it. I really do. And sure, it was very radical in its new take on Godzilla and everything like that, and it wasn't deep or anything like that. This movie doesn't really... I don't think this movie really has anything profound to say. I think it was just a concise, hard sci-fi story with kaijus in it.
I can agree with you on that, too.
And a part of me thinks, and this is why it keeps it from being an A, is I think that hurts the movie almost. Because, you know, there's something that I've always admired about all these Godzilla movies, the good ones, is they do have something they're trying to say. Yeah, they're a good movie first and foremost. They work as movies. But they've got this message underneath it, this allegory or a theme that is lacking in Godzilla Singular Point. And again, and I hate comparing it to Evangelion so much, but the comparisons are apt. Because you can clearly see they pulled some visual stuff from it.
Yeah.
Evangelion is such a personal movie. Or show, series in general.
Yeah.
Where it's an exploration of who we are as people, what makes us us kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I think even if that's stuff that I wish Singular Point had. Something in there like that. Something in there to make me go, this is an exploration of us. Or if they want to go the hard sci-fi route, why don't they do something like 2001 maybe, an exploration of us as humans, an exploration of what's our next step in evolution, which would be very interesting, and I think that could play into, you know, that crazy scientist guy.
Goro.
No.
Oh no, not Goro.
The guy who's kind of this series is Gendo. He kind of reminds me of Gendo.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who's trying to do Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
I think if they did that, this show would have been better. I just think it would have hit harder. Maybe they'll do that with a season 2. Because let's face it, there's a whole universe that this show can set up. And I actually like this comparison that I read in an online review, where this person explained that Shin Godzilla ends on a cliffhanger that will never be answered and should never be answered, and that's Godzilla splitting off into human forms. That it's evolved again, and realized that it can't take one form, it should take multiple forms.
Mm-hmm.
Singular Point takes that idea and says, no, we are going to answer that, and we are going to flesh that out, and we don't care.
Yeah.
I like that. Because they're not compromising on it as well. They're not compromising on that as well. The only thing that I really think was holding them back is Toho's very strict rules about Godzilla, at least Japanese Godzilla, in their Japanese films. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Lucas.
I kind of have heard and read bits and pieces about it, but go enlighten just
in
to
Japan,
get the picture out there.
I guess Toho says Godzilla can't have any humanistic features at all. He can't act remotely human. Yeah. He can't eat people. And there's a couple of others there as well. Like, he can't have, like, a character.
Yeah.
Per se. He needs to be more of a force.
Okay.
And I think that ultimately is going to hold them back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll say this about their Reiwa films, and then I think I'll wrap up this conversation.
Yeah.
I've been praising their Reiwa stuff just because they've been trying stuff new. That being said, all of what I've discussed has really been the universes of these movies, with the exception of Shin. Shin kind of is a mixture, but it's been mainly the universes. In terms of Godzilla himself, or itself, he's been basically the same in each one, where he's sort of this benevolent force that's just kind of trying to survive, and humans kind of get in the way.
Yeah.
Not benevolent like legendary Godzilla, to be specific, but where he's just sort of like a walking force.
No, I get what you're saying.
And I think that is all because of the limitations Toho have put on the creators. I think that's why.
I can. You know what's a weird connection I can make with this in a way? And this is going to be a weird left field, but just bear with me here. Honestly, like Mario. I don't know if you know anything about like expanded like other Mario games, but like something like the Paper Mario series has all these unique characters and designs, and actually will tell like a meaningful story, and it's because those are like role-playing games. They're like turn-based RPGs, and they'll completely make new characters that are completely not like they'll be like, like Koopas and Goombas and stuff like that, but then they'll be like completely random kind of species never introduced in this series. But there's since like God, I want to say like 2012 maybe, or like 2013ish. There's been like this weird thing that like Shigeru Miyamoto wants everything to just be like just the only other creatures that exist are just toads and just Koopas, but none of these other things that were introduced, and it's frustrating because it was like they actually like flesh out Mario of all characters in these kind of games, and it's like, oh nope, he's just back to being Wahoo Man, and it's just kind of a shame.
It is a good app. It is an app comparison, I think.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I don't think it's weird at all because it's another franchised character that is almost being shackled by the company.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be that guy real quick and just say because the Paper Mario games are like some of the best Mario games, period. Even ones like to me, like the 1,000-Year Door, that's like the big one everyone says is like the best one, and quite frankly I agree with. But then it's like the following one, Super Paper Mario, is it's not even an RPG, it's more of like a side scroller like Mario is normally known for. But that game's fucking great also, and the story in that game is fucking great too. The characters they introduce are great, and it's like, why can't we have more shit like this? More like this. It's good.
Granted, I know absolutely nothing about Mario.
I know. I'm just mentioning because it was like something
I know less about Mario than I do Sonic. And I love you, Antonio, but you're never gonna get me into Sonic. You're never gonna get me.
That's not true.
Sonic.
You like Big now.
I do like Big.
Big is base though, honestly. Like I like Big too.
Big is a daddy.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's daddy.
Yes. Daddy Big.
So that was Singular Point, everybody.
Yep.
Glad I watched it.
That was Singular.
Really glad that I watched it.
Orthogonal diagonalizer.
They say that like every other sentence.
That's what's so funny. It's so funny about it. They say it all the time.
And I can't help but be like, that's got to be a joke.
Adam, did you watch it sub or dubbed? I'm just
subbed.
curious. Okay, yeah, because I watched it sub too.
Subbed.
I just was curious if I'm curious how they pronounce it in the dub too. I've heard the dub's fine.
Oh, I bet the dub is all right.
Yeah. I actually found out. I was looking at the list of voice actors and actresses. Pelops 2 in the dub is played by Cassandra Lee Morris, who voices Morgana from Persona 5. So it's like, yeah, this makes not surprising at all, but I'm not complaining. Morgana's the cat. Morgana is the cat.
No, it just got me thinking because I know next to nothing about the Persona.
Yeah.
About the Persona stuff, but
yeah,
the craziness of the universe of Godzilla Singular Point makes me go. Kind of reminds me of what little I know of Persona. You can kill me on that if you want. But
well, I was just saying it more so because the
voice actress.
She plays Morgana, and it's like Morgana has like the same build as Pelops, and I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense that she's voicing this character.
Oh well, it's like the AI voice on Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah, it's Gladys.
It's Gladys, and I'm like, who else could it have been? I like to think that I like to think that it's actually the voice actress who does Gladys. No, in universe.
Oh, in universe. Okay.
And the reason why they chose her to be the AI voice is because people were playing Portal.
Yeah. Such side note, legitimately such a great 2 series of games.
Yep.
Both those games are fucking stellar.
Yep. Admittedly, I have not played them, but boy howdy have I read the lore, and boy howdy have I watched playthroughs.
You should play them. They're really solid. They are super solid games.
But dude, I still gotta play Mass Effect again.
I gotta play Mass Effect too.
That is actually on my bucket list. Actually, you know what? This is a good segue out of Godzilla Singular Point.
So goodbye, Godzilla Singular Point.
Bye-bye.
We loved you. Get out of here! Get him out!
You see, like the cane come in and just pull him. You hear the you hear the whistle and everything. Yeah, Looney Tunes.
It just becomes a cartoon.
Yeah. So I have ever since I was in high school, and I've got to say this: Mass Effect dominated my high school gaming experience. It's basically all I played my entire high school. All of high school was Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Well, now that there's Mass Effect 4 coming out, fuck Andromeda. Now that Mass Effect 4 is coming out, and
there's a fourth one coming out.
They're developing it. Yep,
really,
it was announced.
Actually, I didn't.
Now
know
that that's happening, it's giving me the perfect excuse to revisit the Mass Effect trilogy series. Okay. And they have the Legendary Edition, of course, which includes all the DLCs on it. Yeah, it's like the most complete version of the game. I'm going to mod it a little bit.
Okay.
Particularly 2 and 3.
Okay.
Particularly 3, I'm going to mod a little bit. I'm not going to do the Mayhem mod, which is make the Mass Effect happy ending mod. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with the original ending.
Okay.
But I'm going to mod a couple of things that's more quality of life based than gameplay based.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And I can do that now because I have a PC that can handle that shit.
Oh boy.
But I am so excited to do this because I am like a walking encyclopedia for the Mass Effect universe.
Nice.
I have all the books. It's one of those series that I'm like, I have all the books. All of them. And I've read them all. And I just love that universe. I'm super excited to play it. Now, in terms of me playing the Mass Effect trilogy, I'm going to be doing them in live streams. I'm going to be doing them until I'm done. And I'm pretty sure that when that happens, my YouTube channel is going to be nothing but Mass Effect until it's done. And I haven't done something like that since both Congratulations, the Neon Genesis Evangelion retrospective, and Ishiro Hondathon.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's been years. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to... Because I know I'm going to be recording the gameplay as well, separate from my live stream, since I have the tech to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to also be doing a couple of videos outside of the live streams that go into Mass Effect a bit more as well.
Okay.
But like this is a case where it's like I'm going to know who my Shepard is, every single decision he's going to make. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I'm going to give character reasons why he makes the decisions that he makes.
Okay.
And stuff like that. I'm going to roleplay this character. I'm going to roleplay the fuck out of this character, actually. But I'm super excited for this because, again, this is something I've been wanting to do since high school. But in high school, I didn't have the tech to do it.
Yeah.
Now, I have so much tech.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I have all the tech. And I'm super excited to do that. I don't know if anybody's going to watch. I don't care. I'm going to do this. And I'm super stoked, but expect that when I start, which I'll make a big announcement video, I'm not going to stop until I'm done. Like that is going to happen in 2023, and I've put my foot down on it. That is on my year goals list.
Yeah.
I am for sure tuning in for those Mass Effect playthrough vids. Good. Are you a fan of the Goji Shea 1991? By the way, that is an awesome name. I get the name, and I'm very much appreciative of it. Do you get it, Lucas?
I actually don't. I'll be honest. I'll be transparent. I missed it.
Invasion of Astro Monster, aka Monster Zero, where Godzilla does the dance?
Yeah, of course.
It's called the Shea.
Is it really?
Yes.
I didn't realize it had a name.
Because it's a dance move that was apparently popular. And this is why I'm a fucking walking encyclopedia for Godzilla. I can't do that for anything useful, but you know.
I feel you.
Uchu Dai Kaiju Shea, as Stuart Galbraith IV explained in his audio commentary for Monster Zero. It was a dance move that was actually kind of popular in Japan, and then they did it in Godzilla, and then it became the Godzilla Shea. But yeah, I like the title.
I actually, I didn't realize that. I actually didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, it's got a name.
Actually, it's funny you bring up Invasion of the Astro Monster. I was actually out recently at my local Michael's. I was buying new Exacto blades and stuff for model kit building, And every now and then I peruse. I don't really. I build like like Gundams and like Digimon model kits, but every now and then I peruse like the car stuff there that they have there. Just 'cause I like to look at them. And I found I didn't pick it up, but I found they released a model kit of like the Jeeps from Invasion of the Astro Monster. Like straight up, it's straight up is that like. I'll send you a picture later.
Do.
Like it is.
Please do.
It's branded as Godzilla. It's it's specifically like the Jeeps. It's. I saw. I'm like.
It's
cool.
Is it the Jeeps that pull the weird tower thingies that?
Hold on. Let me see if I can find the picture really quick on my phone. I should still have it. Sorry, everyone. I'm gonna be on my phone for 1 second.
Well, it looks like it's going to be on me for a little bit. I fucking love Monster Zero.
I won't be long. I promise.
Monster Zero and it's Monster Zero and, believe it or not, Ebirah, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Those are the two Godzilla movies that have recently grown on me a lot.
Okay, so I found the picture.
Let me bring you up full screen.
It's the Willys MB Jeep. Hold on, I'll see if I can actually, like, if it shows up. Do you guys, like, see that?
Oh, yeah!
There we go.
Thingies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I looked over and I saw Godzilla, because obviously my brain is like, ooh, Godzilla.
Those are an actual Jeep, though. I wanted to clarify that to you, Lucas, as the guy who's a bit of a nerd for this shit.
I figured.
It's like cool. If you type up like the tank that you most predominantly see in Godzilla in the Showa era that has like the weird shaped T barrel. Those are, I believe, type. What are they? Type 61s. Type 61 tanks. And it's so commonly known for Godzilla that one of the first things that you type up when you type in Type 61 tank, the next thing that's next to it is in Godzilla.
Yeah, I just thought that was cool that I saw like a branded Jeep model kit, but it's specifically commenting, "This is from Godzilla Invasion of the Astro Monster."
I love that so much.
That was cool. It was just a cool little thing.
I love that so much. I love it.
Maybe I'll pick it up. I don't know.
You should. Why not? Well, I don't know. That might not go good with you, knowing like your taste for thing. Just because that's such a military thing.
Sure.
And, well, you like your Gundams and all that stuff. And like, to be honest, I think something like that would.
Are you going to space?
No, there was a big. There's a big truck that went by that like.
You just start.
For some reason, this truck. Whenever there's like a car or a truck that goes by this apartment, the rooms are designed in a way where the sounds really vibrate, and so they always sound bigger than what is really happening. And I hear this truck going by, I'm like, "Is that gonna come through my door?"
This is the start. This is the start of the new AIM Productions arc of the Truck Man.
It's Duel, except significantly less cool.
That's funny.
Heavily in, yeah. But anyways, so Lucas,
hi.
You mentioned you had something you wanted to kind of talk about, a show or something.
I did actually, a show I wanted to talk about and recommend to everyone watching.
And enlighten me.
So I recently this show has been came out 2021, I think, maybe. But I've had it on my radar for so long, and I finally sat down and watched it, and I'm so glad I did because it was such a fucking solid watch. However, I have to be very careful with how I talk about it because the show mystery, and I don't want to accidentally explain things. So I watched a little anime called Odd Taxi. Have you heard of that, Adam?
No, I have not.
So Odd Taxi is an anime. All of the characters are anthropomorphic animals. They're all anthropomorphic animals. That's why, like, when you said that about Beastars, I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about the show then, because so what it is, I'm going to be really vague with how I explain this. I don't want to over-explain it, as I just said before. So it follows a walrus named Otakawa, who is a taxi driver. He just does his job. He's very quiet, very stoic, and very just like, well, not stoic, more so just like kind of awkward and like is very stone-faced. I think he's like 40. He's 40, I think, I believe too. And the show just simply starts with him doing his job, being a taxi driver. and like you're introduced to this world through him just giving he gives like a taxi drive to an influencer, like a wannabe influencer who just wants to be viral for the sake of being popular. I bring that up because of that, like that character shoots like a photo with him to make a meme. They get a photo of a wanted criminal in the background, and that starts extending into multiple different plot lines. You're also introduced that there is currently a missing younger girl who at some point went on a taxi ride with this character. So there's multiple plot lines going throughout this first episode alone. And then you go to like a clinic, where his clinic he goes to, and he pals around, like he has like an exchange with the doctor there, and you learn that like he isn't like sleeping, or like he's barely sleeping. And it's I'm gonna try and stop explaining it there, because it is so cool how we get introduced to these characters and they all kind of slowly intertwine with one another. Like there's like one character that's like, oh, there's an idol group in the show and he's a big fan of this idol group, and he ends up becoming a main character later on as the show goes on, and it's like, oh shit, so that's going to go into that. It was such a solid watch. And
so what is this show called?
Odd Taxi.
I might have heard of
the opening
this.
Is also incredible. It's really, really, be careful like looking stuff up about it, because I recommend going in as blind as possible. And another thing I praise about the show too is that the characters talk like they talk like people. Like they're like interrupting one another, and they're like kind of talking over one another, like as like a conversation between you and me would happen. And it's like the show's funny, the characters are fun, and it goes into like some stuff later on too. It's so hard to explain this show without like gushing about it. It's like I really, really enjoyed it, and I really highly recommend people watch it.
Looking at the animation on it, it looks like something that I would see from like the 70s. The animation style.
It's recent. I think it's 2021.
Yeah, I see that, but it looks like the animation's kind of retro, at least design-wise. Maybe not animation-wise, but design-wise, anyways.
But it's so cool how the episodes play out. Like there was like one episode that it hard opens with like the backstory of this one character, and I'm like, why are we opening on this? And then it flashes back to just a brief thing that happened in the previous episode, and it's like, that's how this character's involved now, and he becomes like a reoccurring character throughout the show. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. And there are two twists in this show that I just like audibly I was like, no fucking way.
Now, is it like a mystery series?
Yes.
Okay.
There's multiple mysteries that happen throughout the show.
I'm gonna have to check this out. Where can I watch this?
There's the mystery of Crunchyroll.
Okay.
I think you can watch it completely for free on Crunchyroll now. I don't think you need a membership to watch it.
I'll watch it. That's where I watched Attack on Titan season 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there's like the mystery of like Otokawa as a whole is that like we kind of grasp this guy. Like they do a really good job of being like, he doesn't seem like a bad guy, but also like he kind of it's kind of up to the viewer initially to kind of like make your stake on this character, but then
kind of cutting out quite a bit, Lucas.
What happened?
Second.
Oh my god, I talked about it so much.
Just bringing that up. Just give us a second.
Hi.
Soon that again. We'll be right back. I gotta fix this stuff. Well, I'm gonna go to a be right back thing. For a second.
Yeah, 1 second, guys.
Welcome back. Well, Lucas has ditched me, like the bitch he is. So now I'm just on my own, son of a bitch. How dare he leave me? No, his internet just got knocked out. So I decided I was going to do this. It looks like poop on camera, but I assure you it isn't. This is bear chili that I've been making over the course of the day. I've been making some chili because, of course, I shot a bear earlier this year. It was my crowning achievement last year. It's by far the highest I ever was. And, I still have some considerable amount of bear meat left. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to make a chili. But I was going to make it in a way that I haven't made it before. And I specifically bought and invested in a recipe that was specifically for bear chili. Ground bear meat and stuff like that. So I said, all right, I'll try it. So I've been slow cooking it over the course of the day. So it's just about done. Right now I just have it on warm, so it can kind of fester just a little bit more. But here it is, and I gotta say, it's the best goddamn chili I've ever made. Now, admittedly, I cheated and cut it half and half. I put a pound of bear meat in there and then a pound of beef in there, ground beef in there, just to kind of mix it up. Because I was a little paranoid because bear meat is pretty gamey, or at least I've noticed that it's pretty gamey, which is fine, by the way, which is absolutely fine. Like, I make it for tacos and stuff like that, and that's great. It works just fine in that, but I was thinking for chili it might be a little too much. And I can definitely tell when I'm eating a piece of bear meat versus a piece of beef. Like, there is a distinctive difference there. So I decided to cut it half and half. Now, I have, I think, about 4 pounds of bear meat left. Because, you know, whatever. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 pounds of that, and then 1 pound of ground pork. And I'm going to make sausage with it. And that sausage will feed me again for quite a fucking while. Lucas is messaging me. I shall bear with you, Lucas. And because there's a recipe that I've done that my father kind of showed me, and some of the sausage spices and everything like that. And, you know, what we do is I've discovered that I think the bear by itself, I can tolerate it, but a lot of people can't because it's just too gamey. You know, that's all that it is, which I understand. But if you mix a bit of ground pork in there, it takes care of that flavor, no problem. Like, it just sort of equalizes itself. So 1/3 pork, or a quarter of its pork. So 1/4 is pork, and then the other 3/4 are bear meat. And it tastes fucking delicious. Now, I gotta get those spices again. That's the issue. But once I do, I'm gonna make all that into spices. That'll feed me in the morning. That'll give me a lot of lunches and everything like that. I think this chili will also give me quite a bit of lunch as well, because I made a lot. That's the unfortunate thing, is I tend to cook a lot. And the reason why I cook a lot is because while I enjoy cooking, it's not my favorite thing to do. And so I want to make stuff that I can eat a lot of leftovers of. I don't know if anyone else is like that. But that tends to be what I do. And so I'm hoping that this chili will give me plenty of lunches to eat over the course of, you know, the year, over the course of the next couple weeks anyways. Yeah, especially I've been on a pretty tight budget. But anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying thus far. Here we are. Welcome back, Lucas. Welcome back to Civilization.
Sorry, guys. We had some internet issues.
I had to talk to them about my bear chili that I've been making.
Wait, bear chili? Is it like actual bear meat?
Yep.
Oh, damn. Ooh. How is it? Is it good?
It's the best chili I've ever fucking made, and I'm so proud of this shit.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
No, it is bear meat. Like, everyone's been asking like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make some bear chili. Like, bear chili? I'm like, yeah. What is that, a spicy level? No, bear meat.
I gotta be honest, it was more so, like, I wasn't even sure if, like, people eat bear meat. Like, I actually honestly, like, I wasn't sure, truthfully.
Yeah, I can understand why people don't like bear meat. I can.
Yeah.
Because it depends on what type of bear you get. The smaller the bear tends to be the better the meat. Like, mine was a small bear.
Yeah.
So the meat was very good. You're going to get a gamey flavor to it, which I don't know if you know what that tastes like.
I honestly don't know.
You know what? When I come down, I might have to save a pound.
Ooh.
Or a couple. Because when I come down, hopefully in March, I might have to cook you guys up some to try. Because if you... if you taste... It's spicy. Shut up. If you You know what? I don't think I will, just because it's not a good example of it.
Okay.
If I get a deer, that's a better example. You're going to taste the game a little bit more. Yeah. It's a flavor you'll never forget.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a flavor. It's a very unique flavor.
Because I've never had like venison or anything like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I really haven't.
Well, then I really need to get a deer this year. But well, I would say that any year, but
yeah.
So it is what it is. But it's a very unique flavor, and you'll recognize it once you've had it.
Okay, all right.
But like this chili isn't just bear meat, as I explained earlier. It's half and half. It's 1 pound of bear meat and then 1 pound of ground beef mixed together.
Okay.
So I kind of cheated, but whatever. Anyways. So this show, Lucas, that you were talking about,
yes, Odd Taxi.
Odd Taxi, I am sold, and I'm going to watch this.
I really hope you do, because I think you would actually like it, truthfully.
Which also means that if we do another video, we probably can talk about that.
Oh, I'd love to, honestly. I kind of even want to rewatch it, to be honest. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm really hoping Antonio takes me up on my offer, where I say, Antonio, if you watch Neon Genesis Evangelion with me, I'll watch The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog video.
Hey, I think that's a win-win in my book, personally.
I might want to rip my mustache hairs out or my beard hairs out while watching Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but I just love the fact that every time you and I talk about Evangelion with Antonio, he just gets more confused. And he just goes, what the fuck is this show? I showed him the scene of Misato and her father. Where her father saves her and puts her in the capsule and everything like that, while that second impact is going on. And he's looking at it like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah. I love it. I love it. We love you, Antonio. I miss you.
I love Antonio. I love that boy.
I really do miss you guys.
I love that man. He's a fine man.
He's a fine, sexy beast of a man.
Oh, yes.
I just kind of put it on in the background today while I was working on shit in here. I watched his video that I shot where he was dyeing his hair because I was an asshole and actually coughed up $500 because I wanted to see it. I was a spiteful piece of shit. I was talking with Jenny about that all day, because her Jim and I were actively rooting for Antonio for what he was doing, and he was doing the 24-hour stream, totally. Raising money for all that. We had it at least on the entire time somewhere. And the entire day I was messaging Jenny. I was like, Jenny, I kind of want to do it, but I'm really scared to pull the trigger. I'm really scared to pull the trigger. And she's like, I understand. And then it comes around that time, and I message her, and I'm like, Jenny, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Fuck it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
That was a good night.
No, that was a great night. He always should be proud of that stream, because it's for what he was doing. I mean, my God,
100%.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Adam eating hour.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Adam mukbang. Fuck yeah. Oh God, stop. I'm sorry. I take it back. I'm sorry. I actually recently went through and as much as I've been having a great time doing streams, my biggest regret of all my fucking streams was, I think it was the first Klonoa one, where I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have wings during stream. That's a great idea. And I really reviewed it back.
Oh yeah, I remember.
You literally see and hear the regret that I'm like, why did I choose this food? I'm hamming it up, but at the same time, it's you can kind of really tell. It's why did I choose this food?
I was there for the stream.
You were. I remember that.
And I was laughing the entire time because I'm like, why would you do that to yourself?
I think in the moment I was just thinking, this is a normal food I eat. It's not going to be that weird. I'm like, wait.
Wait a minute.
And that wait only happened after a wing or two, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yes, yep. And no, I am John Selecchia. No, I am not doing an Adam mukbang. No.
Hi, John. I love you.
Yeah, I love you, John. Miss you, John.
I miss that boy.
Now...
Oh, wait, I need to read Justin Tang's comment really quick.
Yes.
Adam will have to give himself a promotion. That's a reference from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought he was just referring to something about my new job.
No. No, that's an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog reference, boy.
Oh.
You'll know if you watch it.
I will. But Antonio's got to watch Evangelion with me.
It did just get a Blu-ray release, I'm just saying. I'm actually not joking. Discotek did a release of the whole show.
Now, I also want to say the stipulation with Antonio is he had to watch EOE as well.
Oh, no, yeah, I feel like you have to. That's a treat, if anything. As depressing and soul-crushing as that movie is, it's a treat. I got you. I got you there.
Oh, my God. The first half of that movie, I'm like, okay, this is really violent and everything like that, but normal.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know, where like, okay, people are getting shot. Oh, there's a giant robot. It's logical.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the second half happens, and the moment people start turning into LCL, turning into the primordial soup, which, by the way, in Godzilla's singular point, there's that red water.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to say they refer to it as the primordial something. And all I can think of is it always comes down to primordial soup. Everything turns into LCL, doesn't it?
Oh my god. I love End of Evangelion.
Oh, I do too.
I will mention, because I did see Thrice Upon a Time for the third time now in theaters.
Tell me about that.
Well, first and foremost, best possible screening, because besides me and my 3 other friends, there was only like 3 other people in the theater. So ace. But yeah, it just, that movie is a movie I just enjoy more and more on each rewatch. And specifically on this watch, the scene at the end when like everything is like fully kind of like rebuilding itself, and it's like the scene where like all like the people and animals are like floating together and everyone seems really happy and at peace. The song that plays during that scene too, it was like that. I actually got like a little misty during that scene, because it's just so beautiful of a scene to me, where it's just like everyone is just happy, at peace, and like in such a series where you don't get a lot of that. It kind of like on this watch really stood out to me more so.
You know what's really funny, Luke, is you mentioning that you were going to go see it made me rewatch our talk, re-listen to our talk that we did about Thrice Upon a Time.
Yeah.
You see, I've almost been afraid to rewatch it just because I'm worried that I would like it less.
I get it, yeah.
Hearing you say that you liked it more is encouraging me.
Yeah.
And it's Hideaki Anno, and I had that with Shin Godzilla too, where I was like, the second time I watched it, I liked it a little more, and then the third time I watched it, I'm like, oh my god, this is like, this is lightning in a bottle. Yeah. And, you know, and stuff like that, but I agree with you with the ending, by the way. I love that ending. And by the way, I love the fact that Shinji isn't with Asuka or Rei or anything like that. I love that it's that other girl.
I'm fine with that too. I was always fine with that.
I didn't think I would be as fine with it as I am until I started really thinking about it. And like, I love the fact that it's hinted that Rei and Asuka are just good friends.
Yeah.
In this universe.
Yeah.
And I do. First time I watched it, I fucking cried. I'm not going to admit it. I was tearing up, blabbering. I got snot running down my nose. Because I'm like, this is this character, and I'm so happy that things finally worked out. And that made me start thinking about Evangelion as a whole. Mm-hmm. And I now subscribe to the theory that Neon Genesis Evangelion and the rebuilds of Evangelions are in the same universe. They're just resets of each other.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Because End of Eva ends with them being... the oceans being red, and of course the rebuilds, the oceans are red. And Neon Genesis begins with Rei floating for a brief second, and it also, End of Eva ends with Rei floating for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the rebuilds open with that same thing, and I think it's a reset. That Shinji made his decision in Neon Genesis Evangelion, that reset everything, and then we got the rebuilds out of it.
Yeah, and then with Thrice...
it's a cycle that's repeating.
Until the end, until Thrice is ending.
Thrice.
Yeah. Where it's like, we're finally cutting it off.
Which, with that in mind, suddenly a lot of the complaints that I had in our discussion on it, suddenly I was like, know what? They're not really complaints anymore.
Yeah.
They're not. I get it. Or at least I like this aspect. Which if you want to, that is on my channel. We did discuss it for an hour and a half.
Yeah. That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, I would love to do more videos where they're kind of discussions on that. I've been wanting to do those a little bit more anyways.
Yeah.
If I watch this Odd Taxi, which I'm sold on, I'll talk about it with you.
Perhaps. Yeah. I'm not against it. Not against it at all.
I've been looking for more shit to watch, seriously. I tried to start watching Star Wars The Bad Batch today.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either, truthfully. I watched
actually, I want to clarify. I'm going to keep watching it because I hear that it gets good.
Okay, all right.
But I'm doing other shit until it gets good.
They're doing another season, though, right? Like
it just came out.
Oh,
season 2 just came out.
Okay, all right.
I'm just impatiently waiting for Andor season 2, because goddamn that show.
I have to watch that. That's what I have to watch. Because again, I'm hearing from people I trust. I'm like, yeah, if it's actually good Star Wars content, I'll watch it. Like,
you know what's really good about it, and I'm doing another video on it because fuck it, it did all right. My first video on it, which everybody says I'm being extremely pro-fascist, and my answer to that is absolutely no. My answer to that is no. I'm providing historical context to everything.
Yeah.
My next video I'm doing is focusing specifically on one character, and I actually kind of want to do more videos like this. I want to bring back the Godzilla vlogs, and I think my next one that I'm going to do is a character analysis of Dr. Mifune from Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Okay.
Because I just rewatched Terror of Mechagodzilla while sort of building everything in here, just because I wanted something that was on, and it's on YouTube still, so I'm like, I'm going to just put it on. Boy, howdy, do I love Terror of Mechagodzilla.
That's a great one.
That movie has no right to be as good as it is, considering the era it was made.
Yeah.
But it's pretty damn near a masterpiece.
It's a solid one. It is a really good one.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But I think I was going to do a character piece on him, and then I wouldn't mind doing one on Katsura as well.
Okay.
Because she's fascinating too. And I'm like, wow, a Godzilla movie with really good characters? Impossible.
I've actually I've been watching because I got the Blu-ray set from a friend of mine. Like, he's big into collecting Blu-rays, but he's been upgrading a lot of his Blu-rays to like 4K stuff, to like 4Ks and stuff. So anytime he has like extras, he kind of like gives us to our friend group. Like, he'll be like, hey, I have these if anyone wants them. I got from him recently. I've been watching through the early Batman movies, like the Burton ones, and then the Schumacher ones.
Yes. Yep.
I think genuinely, I think the first like Tim Burton one is a great movie. I think it's a super solid movie from start to finish.
I adore the first Tim Burton Batman movie.
I think
Batman 89.
Yep. I think it's a great movie. I like that. Like, it's like, I feel like this is kind of more of a current thing where Joker as a character, if someone plays him, they all feel like they have to go on this fucking path of like, oh, I fucked myself up for like 5 days in a row. I locked myself in a room with no heat or water. But Nicholson Joker is just Jack Nicholson being a little more silly, and honestly, like, it's just like a breath of fresh air, oddly enough.
Well, Jack Nicholson, it feels like Jack Nicholson is just playing himself.
I know, but honestly, I'm okay with that.
Me too. Really kind of okay with that, and the insanity is a little more organic in Batman 89, believe it or not, considering how absolutely crazy that movie is.
Yeah,
Visually, I think it is the most beautiful Batman movie.
It's cool.
Admittedly, I like a lot of the visuals in Batman Returns as well. I just think it gets too crazy.
I'll mention Batman Returns, but I didn't know that the Burn one used like some rotoscoping for a bit, and it used miniatures too. Like, there's a shot of
miniatures.
There's a shot at the beginning where it's like he's like standing on top of a building, and it's just a silhouette, but they animated the silhouette.
Yeah,
the cape sways. I was like, that was fucking cool. I didn't know they were doing that.
Well, of course they did, and I love that stuff. I love the stuff. Like, even the fact that Batman should be able to turn his head.
Yeah.
But the fact that the suit, they said fuck it, and he can't, for some reason, visually makes Batman terrifying.
Yeah.
Like how he just has to turn his whole body.
I also
like
I genuinely think the movie was funny. Like it was like a funny movie, like at times too. Like I thought the gag of when Joker poisons all of the like makeup in Gotham City, the gag that the news anchors look like absolute dog shit from that point on in the movie, I think is funny as fuck. I thought that was one of like the funniest jokes in the movie.
Yeah,
like you see like
absolutely.
the male guy has like zits all over himself.
Yeah,
like...
I love it.
But
that.
Returns, I can't say I loved Returns. I can't say I did.
I want to say this right now. I don't even really like it. It gets too crazy.
But I think the way they do Penguin in that movie is so not what that character is.
No.
And I know we were going off before about like we like to see different takes and stuff like that. This is just weird. This is just strange.
Yes.
He was a mutant like penguin baby who got abandoned.
Oh, the birth of Catwoman is creepy as fuck.
That was definitely weird. That was definitely creepy and like probably one of the stronger aspects of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But why is like I'm hung up on Penguin right now. I'm sorry. Why? And I love Danny DeVito. I love him with all my fucking heart. Why is he like oozing goo out of his mouth?
I know, right? And I cannot buy Gotham voting him mayor.
I can't. Just because they saved he quote unquote saved like the mayor's kid or something.
That's my favorite scene in the movie.
It is funny.
It's really funny. And I love the penguin holding the baby and going and everything like that. And a part of me just thinks that was just Danny DeVito being like just trying to genuinely comfort this baby.
There was one scene in that movie too. I could not believe what I was watching where
bye, Lucas.
Basically is like giving
Are
them
you there,
like
Lucas?
God damn it, is this happening again?
No, you just came back.
Okay, all right.
You just came back.
Sorry.
But you cut out there pretty bad for a second.
Sorry.
Just loop back about 30 seconds.
All right, so I was talking about how Penguin was making an army of penguins, which I'm pretty sure were all on a suicide mission. Because he said, like, you will more than likely not come back. But it's like a whole room of real-ass penguins. Like,
oh, God.
That movie. And then I also, again, I did watch, What's Forever is the next one after that, right?
Yes. Yep.
Because I haven't watched Batman and Robin yet. I know Infamous Batman and Robin. I know it, but I think I'll have fun with it because of how stupid it is.
Yes.
But man, Batman Forever. I'm gonna just go on record saying this, and I don't really feel bad. I love Jim Carrey. I have never hated Jim Carrey more in a movie than I did in Batman Forever. I was so like over his character within like the second sentence he spoke. I was like, nope, not into this. Nope.
No, I preferred Frank Gorshin's Riddler from the 60s Batman.
The Adam West one, right?
Yeah. I
have to watch that one still. I'm honestly like hard recommended that movie all the time, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta watch that.
I know John is in the chat because John wrote, also isn't EOE's ending confirmed in the manga when Shinji sees the mass Evas and the stones in the sea? Yeah.
Oh.
You're right. But the manga is not, well, it could be canon. I'll have to look into that a little bit more with my theory.
Mm-hmm.
However, as far as I know, the manga has nothing to do with Neon Genesis.
Yeah, I thought that was like kind of its own story to an extent.
Yeah, it's like its own thing. It's good. I highly recommend
it. You have recommended it.
That being said, John, when we were over at his house, we decided to watch Batman 66, the Adam West Batman movie. So fun.
I gotta watch it. I really have to watch it.
Shark repellent.
Yep, the shark repellent.
I love the leaps of logic in that they express as logic.
Yeah.
This Kitka is clearly Catwoman, but nobody notices. I love it. I just love how silly it is.
Yeah.
And I love the story where Adam West was going to voice Batman again for that animated movie that he did, where I think it's called Batman Return of the Caped Crusader.
Oh yeah.
And it was wonderful, by the way.
I have to watch that. Also, I have to watch still. Yeah.
It's wonderful. I highly recommend it. And Adam West said people were like, "All right, Adam, you gotta get back into character," and he was like, "All right, give me a second. I'm ready." And I'm just like, that's so Adam West.
Yeah. I also with Batman Forever, it was annoying. That movie I found annoying too, because like I think like all of the villains in this era of the Batman movies kind of suffer from trying to be wacky and zany like the Joker is. Meanwhile, those characters were never written to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the biggest offender of that was Two-Face in that movie.
Yep, big time.
That's not what that character is. And who plays him in that movie? I honestly
Tommy Lee Jones.
I think he does a good job though. Like even though I don't like how they're doing that character, I thought he does a good job given what he has to do for that movie.
Tommy Lee Jones is a wonderful actor.
Yeah, totally.
Well, most of the actors who played in these are actually decent actors.
And my other takeaway from Forever, and I don't know if this is like considered like a hot take. I'm not even trying to intend it as that. I liked Val Kilmer as Batman. I actually. You didn't?
No.
Why am I the fucking weird one here? I really thought he was fine. Like.
Oh, he was fine.
Yeah. No, but I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed him as Batman. Like I found him believable as Batman. Like,
George Clooney is the only one that I like less than him.
I mean I've heard the tales, and I still have to watch his movie, but.
Yeah, but. Well, the reason why is George Clooney's just playing George Clooney.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I love Michael Keaton though.
Michael Keaton's great.
Michael Keaton as Batman is great.
Yeah, cannot argue with, and will not argue with that. But yeah, I've been like on a slight Batman kick because of that. Also, a while back, I think around Black Friday, I got the whole animated series, like the collection, for like dirt cheap. And I mean, yeah, I don't need to explain that one. It's Batman the Animated Series. Everyone, it's fucking great. Like it's.
Can I tell about a conversation I had this week that made me lose my mind?
I saw your post about that actually. Go into that.
So
I couldn't believe
with these guys about it, right?
Yeah.
And they're talking about like who was their favorite Batman, and everything like that. And they went with Christian Bale. Because they thought it was the least campy, and they hate '89 Batman just because they think it's too weird,
Ooh.
Which I disagree with full-heartedly. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly. But then they asked me, and I said, no, you can't top Mark Hamill voicing Mark Hamill's Joker, and you can't voice Kevin Conroy's Batman.
That's
you
like
can't top it. And they looked at me dead straight, dead serious, and said, but that's cheating. That's a cartoon.
Boo!
And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, the voice acting is cheating because they don't actually have to act. The animation does the acting. And I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I nearly told them to go fuck themselves because I'm like,
that's
so wrong.
Fucking wrong.
Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, you'll never top them.
You're saying that the year Kevin Conroy passed away too? Yep. Come on.
Yep.
That was.
I'm
tragic.
like, you just can't top them.
That was tragic though. Like
it was.
I really couldn't have expected that.
He had cancer, didn't he?
I think it was something like that. But obviously he was keeping it private, which is respectable. Honestly,
it's fine.
Yeah.
David Bowie, when he died, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. With Kevin Conroy too, at first I really genuinely thought it was a fake one until I saw the voice actress for Poison Ivy made a post about it. And I'm like, oh no.
Yep.
Oh, this is real. Like,
we're going into DEFCON 4 right now.
Yeah. That was literally like the shift. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like Batman the Animated Series. Is something where I don't need to say anything. Because it's Batman the Animated Series.
Batman the Animated Series,
it's that good.
I've recently gotten to Justice League Ultimate a little bit for some reason, mainly because of Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking good, too.
Nice.
The animated... The DC animated universe, which lasted, I think, until Young Justice was, the last one?
I think that was the last one, yeah.
Is all good.
Yeah, it's
even their weaker shit is still good.
Yeah,
and I think their weaker shit is Justice League Ultimate.
Yeah.
And it's still good, guys.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's good stuff. It is good. I haven't watched enough of like Justice League, like those, like the Justice League Unlimited, those shows.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm not gonna act like I have. I really haven't. But like from what I've seen, it's all really good.
There's a really good arc with Lex Luthor becoming president, and him and his relationship with Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, which and I've made this no secret, but I love underground organizations and universes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes, and they do the dirty work. Those kind of organizations. Like in Star Trek, it's oh, I forgot what the order. It's like Order something. I can't remember what it is. But Star Trek has one. In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's the Daily that I really like in the Earth Kingdom. I just love them. In Mass Effect, it's Cerberus.
Okay.
I really love Cerberus as an organization. And the Godzilla saga has a few of them that go on behind the scenes and stuff like that. Katniss is one of my favorites in specifically the DC animated universe.
Yeah.
Because it's horrifying, but makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a great scene where Amanda Waller confronts Batman, right? And Batman says, "We're the good guys." You have nothing to fear from us. And Amanda Waller just looks at him straight in the eye and says, "We have nothing to fear from you. The last time we checked, you have a giant spaceship with a laser gun pointing down."
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, yes, she gets it.
Yeah.
She gets it. I love that stuff. I love Amanda Waller.
Did you ever catch the Batman? Like the new one?
I thought that was a kid's show. I'm sorry, I know they're all technically kid shows, but I mean like a young kids show.
Wow, actually, I'm sorry. I shifted back to live action.
Oh. You're talking about the one
the
with
new one, the Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, did you ever catch that?
Did not.
It was good. It was good. I wasn't like, again, it was something I wasn't like infatuated with, but like it was pretty solid all around for like a new Batman movie. I liked Robert Pattinson. Actually,
well, I gotta say this: the guy who plays Riddler,
is
perfect.
Yeah, I think it's really fun how they do Riddler in that one. How they kind of like adapted him more as like a little more modern. Wow, that was one of the worst ways to explain it, but you know what I'm trying to say. They kind of like do this different kind of take with them. It still doesn't really feel like the Riddler to me, but I think it was fun enough where I was able to buy it.
Well, I don't think they've ever done the Riddler really good. Yeah, even in the animated series, I don't really care for him.
I think I liked him in like the Arkham games.
The only time that I've really liked the Riddler was in '66 Batman, or even Batman the show from the '60s.
Yeah.
And that's because it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked him in the Arkham games. I remember liking him in those.
I forgot he's in those. Jesus, I need to replay those.
Well, he's like one of the biggest like in Arkham City. That's like the big collectible puzzle where you have to find the Riddler trophies. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Also, Colin Farrell as Penguin was fucking great.
Oh, I forgot he was Penguin.
He is like one of the best parts of that movie. like point blank. Ironically enough, I was complaining before about Penguin in Batman Returns, and now I'm talking about this Penguin. I'm like, yeah, this one's really good.
I never liked Penguin in the animated universe.
I didn't mind him. I just like Penguin. I think
the best Penguin I've seen is actually in, and I don't really care for this show, but Gotham.
I have not watched it.
He was the best Penguin because it's the Penguin when he's young, becoming the king of the underground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is great. He's like Richard. He's like a Machiavellian villain.
Yeah.
Becoming king of this underground organization by lying, seducing. Well, not really seducing, but lying and convincing people that he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't really know his ass from his elbow, but he really knows everything that's happening. Yeah, he's manipulating everybody and everything until he's finally on top. Yeah. I love that.
I also really like going back to animated stuff. I really do genuinely enjoy and this was definitely made as more of like younger audience, like cartoonish. Did you ever watch like any of Batman Brave and the Bold?
That's the show I was thinking of.
I like that show.
No, I have not. Other than I liked the episode or the clip that I saw where he finds the killer of his parents.
Oh yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
I like that show because I like that it's like a celebration. That show is like a celebration of Batman, of like all the like of the good stuff and like the weird stuff, and I really appreciated about that show. I think it's a really fun watch.
Noted. I don't think I'll ever be able to get into it.
No, it's fine. I get it.
Knowing, I just don't think I'll ever be able to get into it. I might be able to get into Harley Quinn.
Is that's the one on HBO Max? Yeah, because that's like just straight up a comedy show. That's not like anything like serious.
Right, but I would probably be able to get into that.
there's some funny stuff in it. I've seen some of the jokes from it, and there is some funny shit in that show.
I like the fact that Harley Quinn becomes Bruce Wayne's therapist.
Yeah.
There's something about that in her relationship with him that I go, that makes so much sense for some reason. There's a great line, actually, in Justice League Ultimate, where there's kind of an arc where Wonder Woman is kind of trying to get with Batman, but Batman just keeps rejecting her in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a gag. And there's one episode where they're looking at a couple dating. They're like, oh, young love, blah, blah, blah. And she drops the hint, you know, or maybe a good friend, and Batman doesn't even look at her. And he goes, 1, dating a coworker will never end well. 2, you're a goddess from the Amazons. I'm a rich boy with parental issues and lots of other issues. Lots of issues. And then he just goes back to normal. I'm like, that's funny. All right. I've just always loved the fact. I just like. There's also I think it's a movie though that I saw a clip from where it's like Batman has contingency plans against every member of the Justice League, right?
Yeah, that might be one of the like movies they did.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar on those. Truthfully.
And all I know is that what happens is every one of the Justice League members starts getting attacked in very specific ways, and Batman quickly deduces somebody hacked his plans.
Ooh.
Because, and it's a great line too, where he's like, "What's going on?" Alfred's like, "What's going on? Who's attacking the Justice League?" And Batman just goes, "By me. They're being attacked by me." And he just immediately goes out trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Somebody hacked Batman's stuff to get all of the contingency plans in place. Yeah. That's terrifying. Oh, it's like Superman gets shot with a kryptonite bullet. The Flash gets strapped something onto his ankle where if he slows down past a certain point, he will explode. The Martian Manhunter gets caught. He catches on fire, and I forgot the logic of why, but he catches on fire, and that fire cannot be extinguished.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's stuff like that, and I'm like, this is good. This is good. Anyways, well. It is now 10:10 p.m. I'm thinking I'm going to go on for another 20 minutes, and then we'll call it good.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
What else can we talk about? I have no Bigfoot shit to talk about. This is a rarity.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the Bigfoot well is dry right now.
Right now. We'll see what happens.
We're gonna wake up in the morning. It'll be like the biggest Bigfoot news in like eons is gonna drop. It'll be like fuck.
Well, that's when we gotta go. That I know what I'm talking about next live stream.
Yeah.
Ugh. I should probably talk about some of these comments. I noticed people are commenting.
Yeah, I mean, I saw A's there. Hi, buddy.
Oh, hey, buddy.
What's up, dude?
So, let's see. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. Yes, the most famous Batman line.
I do know that line from the Adam West one.
I really like the Batman 2022. Probably in my top 10 of my favorite films from that year. I also agrees with you that he liked that interpretation of
it's good. It's good.
Penguin.
I really like Colin Farrell in that movie. I think he's great.
Godzilla Kiru, you're never late, buddy. Actually, yes, you are. You're extremely late to this live stream, but you know. Again, it will always be on DVR, so you can always, or on demand. So once this is done, you can always go back and watch it again. I'm not.
We talked about the octagonal diagonalizer.
We did.
I don't know if you heard of it.
I have to look at the word to say it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've seen Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think about it, Let's see. Oh, yes, that's enjoyable. Let's see. Adam, have you seen Avatar: The Way of the Water? No. I remember Lucas saying he saw it already. You did?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
So I actually, for context, I want to just explain this a little bit. I actually even went to the re-release, the 3D re-release of the first one, because I haven't seen that movie since I saw it when I was young and my brain wasn't fully developed with movies and shit. And like I didn't even see it optimally. I saw it in 2D like an idiot.
All right.
Like when I was a little kid, when I was younger. I say little kid, I was in middle school.
So did I, by the way. I saw it in 2D when I was a little too, only because 3D gave me such a headache. I said I'm not doing it.
But yeah, I went and saw the re-release of that. That was like back in September, and I left it being like, you know what, this is honestly like, yeah, there's some predictable stuff to it. I'm not gonna say this story is like this nuanced and brand new tale.
It's Pocahontas.
But I think it's a fine enough. Yeah, I know but like I still think it's fine though. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it still works for the story they're trying to tell. And I thought a lot of it held up. Like I thought the CG holds up pretty damn well. I thought the score was really good too in that movie.
Yep.
But yeah. Now shifting over to Avatar 2. Oh, actually, I will mention too is like I feel like that movie was also a case of like the initial reaction of it like blew things way out of proportion of what it is exactly, if that makes sense. Because like you watch this movie and like, for Christ's sake, one of like the big bad military guys is going, "Get some!" every like 5 minutes. And I'm like, this is very deliberately trying not to be super serious here, guys. It's more so like a lot of the tech stuff too.
Which is a pointless trivia about that.
Okay, go on.
The guy who plays the villain in the first Avatar film is Stephen Lang, who's one of my favorite actors ever. He plays General Pickett in Gettysburg, and then he plays General Stonewall Jackson in Gods and Generals, and that's what I know him from.
Okay, yeah.
So whenever I see him and stuff, I'm go Jackson. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, it's just I'm just explaining that it's like I really left the rewatch of the first Avatar in a really positive state where I'm like, this was fine. This was a fine, solid sci-fi blockbuster. I really enjoyed it, and I especially enjoyed the strongest thing both this movie and the new one does is just making this sci-fi world that you go into, and just kind of enjoying seeing all of like the plants and the wildlife and stuff like that, and all of like the way the world is.
What I like to call it, and it's almost like Mass Effect 1 and 2, particularly 1. It's a simple story to sort of get you into the universe.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Star Wars does this in
really
droves. The first Star Wars film, A New Hope, is probably the best example of that I can think of, where it's just a simple story to establish this crazy universe.
That's probably why still New Hope is like my favorite one.
You know, I think it is mine too. You know, it used to be Return of the Jedi because I genuinely fucking love that movie. But I think it's A New Hope because A New Hope I love it.
I am in the camp where I do think Empire is like the best of those movies, but I personally I love New Hope. New Hope has always been like my personal favorite one of the original trilogy. I don't know, it just works for me. But going back to Avatar. So now I did actually literally the same thing at the exact same IMAX theater in the city.
Oh boy.
To see Avatar 2 with my friend. And I enjoyed it. I really thought it was a solid step up from that first movie. It was a case where I didn't really have a lot of complaints leaving it. The thing is, Adam, do you know about the frame rate thing in this movie?
It's 48, isn't it?
So it flops. It flops between the two of them.
I am not a fan of 48 whatsoever.
I will get to this because that's probably like my one complaint. So like most of the character stuff and like really like interpersonal character stuff is going to be like your standard 23 point whatever FPS. The 48 stuff is more of like the water and like some of the action stuff, and I didn't dislike it. But if there's anything I've learned as a person and as a creative, I really value stability.
Yep.
I really value constance and stability. And that did bother me a little bit. I thought it was cool, but it was still just like, we keep flopping between frame rate. I don't know.
Ask you a question, Lucas, a genuine one.
Sure.
What are your opinions about aspect ratios changing?
Oh, I don't like.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Okay.
There was one instance actually where, I will take that back because I thought this was an incredible way they did it in Mandalorian.
Oh, they do it in Mandalorian? I've got to watch it.
The second episode of season 2, they have a scene where like I think is like a crate dragon is in the episode, and when it reveals itself, the aspect ratio changes with it, and it was really cool, and I thought that was actually kind of sick. But like I don't know, I'm weird with that because I feel like my only other experience with aspect ratio changing was from a trash movie, Transformers: The Last Knight does that.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
so you want to know a good movie that I think is a great example of the aspect ratio changing over the course of the movie? Tron Legacy. That
movie does that?
Big time.
What? I didn't even notice
yeah,
it then.
Yeah. If you get the Blu-ray and if you watch it on Disney Plus, you'll see the aspect ratio change, and it worked beautifully.
Yeah, because a
lot of times in theaters they kept the matte the same, so you never got to see it.
Okay.
But if you watch it on Blu-ray and if you watch it on Disney Plus, you see the aspect ratio change. Everything that is in the real world is in 235:1. As soon as you get into the Tron, the world itself, it goes to 16:9. The black bars go.
I didn't even notice that.
And
I don't know how I didn't notice that. I feel stupid now.
Yeah, I love it.
Because I always go up saying how much I like Tron Legacy, and I'm like, I didn't notice that.
Hey, I never noticed it until I got the Blu-ray.
I actually want to read a few comments really quick here, because A's talking about Avatar. I did want to mention a few things. Yes, Colonel Miles Quaritch is a great character. Yeah, I really enjoyed him, because I think he plays exactly the character that he needs to be. And, like, his character in Way of Water, I think, is really interesting, because he's simultaneously the same character, but also kind of a new character. Do you want me to say why?
Holy fuck, the movie's 3 hours and 12 minutes?
It is, but I'm going to agree with A on this, that it really flew by.
Oh no, length is never.
Into it,
Lucas, Gettysburg is my second favorite movie. That movie is 4.5 fucking hours long.
Yeah, but that's like something you really like. It's like
length of a movie has never been an issue with me.
I know, but I also hear a lot of people like oh, it's too long, I can't watch it, and then proceeds to watch it.
If a movie, it all depends on if the movie works or not. Like if it's a good movie, it doesn't matter. It could be a 6-hour movie. If you care about the characters and you care about the story being told, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. It's but I think it honestly flew by too. I actually agree with that.
Who is Colonel Miles?
Stephen Lang's character.
Oh, I thought he died in.
He did.
What the fuck? How is he? No.
No, he is. Do you want me to say what? How?
He's an avatar. No.
Yep.
No.
No, it's cool though. It's actually kind of sick because it's like, it's now both factions are doing, like, both factions have done this now. Now the humans are doing it because they did that to. There's actually a great scene in the movie. I kind of don't want to spoil it because it's genuinely kind of funny.
I'm not gonna watch it, Lucas. I just have no interest in it.
When Miles' avatar wakes up with the memories from Miles, he watches a video briefing from him when he was a human, and he was like, "If you're watching this, then I have not made it back, but more than likely you won't be watching this." It's just like, well, we have some bad news. I'm not doing it justice, but it's really funny in context. But it's cool because it's like, it actually gives that character a little bit of nuance now, because it's like, he's not this guy, but he's also kind of this guy, if that makes sense. Because even like from the video recording, he's like, technically you aren't me. You're going to be your own person in your own sense, but just have my memories and like in how I think.
Speaking of that, I do have a question that has been driving me nuts.
Sure.
Sam Worthington's character, Jake.
Which character was that? Yeah. Jake Sully, yeah.
How did they handle him? Where is his human body?
Well, no, he's not. He's just a Na'vi now.
What happened to his human body?
He basically died, but through the magic of Awa, their god, he was able to basically be reborn as a Na'vi. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie, I think, since 2009, because...
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, at the end of Avatar, that's what happens, is that, like, he's basically on death row, but because of what he did and, like, the way that world works, he was able to transfer his...
I just can't get over the fact that Na'vi have sex with their tails, and that's also how they connect to animals as well. And I know they're aliens, but all I can think of whenever I see that is like, oh my god, the level of STDs these people must have. like that's all I can think of.
Nah, bro, Awa doesn't allow that.
You know what's really funny? This is how I know I love a universe a lot. Mass Effect has an entire chapter about the random STDs you can get from aliens in Mass Effect. Like, this is hysterical. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I know I sound like I have been kind of riffing on Way of Water, but no, really, I legit think it's solid and it's worth the watch if you're willing to sit down and watch it and like not be like hipster about it. You know what I mean? It's like because I feel like I've seen online with this movie is that like the people who are like hard hating on this movie, I feel like have no basis other than just to hate on it because it's popular. And it's really annoying.
I used to
it's
be
like
one of those
really
guys
kind of
that
annoying.
used to call the original Avatar the most overrated movie of all time.
Well, I will not disagree with you on it because I did have that period where like when I first saw it, and keep in mind when I first saw it, I was just a middle schooler.
Same.
I didn't have a fully like artistic brain yet. I really liked it, and then I had my phase where I was like, no, this movie wasn't actually that good. But now that I've rewatched it as like an adult who I understand movies way more now, I'm like, no, this is actually a solid sci-fi blockbuster movie. I really don't.
I still don't think I'd like it because I'm sick of that story.
That's okay.
The only time I think I've seen that story work is the Ten Commandments, because that is literally the story of Moses. It's the Moses story. And The Last Samurai. Okay. Everything else I've seen, I've been like, come on.
Again, I think the strongest aspects of these movies are the world building and like the world they're creating.
Except, isn't unobtainium?
Unobtainium is no longer actually relevant. Okay. There's a new kind of MacGuffin that I really would rather you find out on your own. But I think the world building is really cool. I think the creature designs are really cool too. I just really appreciate a lot of the design of this series too. I think they just look interesting. I also love the fucking amp suits, the big like mech suits.
Those are cool.
From those are sick. I love those. Truthfully, like the mech fan of me is like, ooh, I like.
See, here's the thing that I've noticed, and actually, you know what? This is just kind of a coinky dink that this sort of came up today. Today, I watched a video that wonderfully broke down the differences between the theatrical cut and then the assembly cut of Alien 3. Which, if you don't know the history of that, it was production hell. There were changes and reshoots and all that shit.
Yep.
I have only seen the assembly cut of that movie. So I was curious what the differences really were. And so that really made me think, and I fucking love Alien 3, the assembly cut. Like, I adore that movie. It's flawed, but I adore it. And I actually like it more than Aliens.
I can't go that far.
And the reason why is because it's more in terms of my type of film. And I also thought that Alien 3 was trying to say something and had something to say in an interesting way, while to me, Aliens is just an unbelievably masterfully done action movie. And that's it.
True.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, I'm not saying I don't like Aliens. I love Aliens. It's just not my type of movie. I don't like big action movies.
I get it.
Like, to me, you'll never top the original Alien.
I mean, the original Alien is my favorite. It still is.
But a lot of people prefer Aliens.
No, you're right, because that movie was way more appealing to the mass audience. It was an action movie. And also, and to its credit, it has some of the best practical effects in movies, like the Queen.
Absolutely.
Alone.
And the reason why I mention that is because that's one thing I've noticed about James Cameron is that James Cameron never usually has anything overly deep to say in his movies. He's just really good at doing action. He's really good at doing action.
I would say T2 was fairly...
I just thought that was a relatively straightforward action movie.
Okay.
Even more so than...
Maybe I'm talking out of my butt a little bit then.
Because I prefer T1. I prefer the original Terminator. I just love the low budget grime.
I like how it's stop motion in that movie.
I just love the low budget grime of the first one. Like, I just think that adds to the world significantly.
Yeah. See, Terminator is a series where it's like, whereas Alien, despite how worse the later movies get, until my cutoff now is Covenant. I don't give a shit about anything else after Covenant. I was just like, fuck.
Well,
this.
To me, there's a trilogy, and it's Alien, Aliens, and then Alien 3.
No, you're right.
And that's it.
No, you're right. You're right. But I had at least some sick fascination with the later stuff. Terminator, it's Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and I'm done. I'm good.
I enjoyed Terminator Salvation. The one that takes place in the crazy future.
The Christian Bale one.
Yeah.
The Christian Bale one.
And I'll tell you why I like that one, and that's because it was doing something new. It wasn't just a rehash of 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a great movie, but I enjoyed it.
I just like, because then after Salvation, I think like everything after Salvation especially is exceptionally bad.
Yeah.
Like It's like Dark Fate. There's like another one.
Genesis.
Bleak Future. Oh my God, Genesis. Bleak Future. I don't know what the fuck. And they all suck. They're both bad. Like, my God. I think the recent one, whatever the one was, Dark Fate or whatever, completely devalues everything that happens in Terminator 2. Like, it was like, what the fuck? How did you make this movie? Adam, were you on stream? On my drawing stream recently, where I ranted, I think, for a good
Napoleon.
Oh, right. No, but were you there during when I was talking about Jurassic World Dominion?
That's when I tuned in.
I could. That movie sucks.
That was the moment I tuned in. I think you were halfway through your rant, and I can tell. I can tell you were going on a rant.
Not to shoehorn my own content, but if you ever want to hear me rant about Jurassic World Dominion, go tune into that Sketch and Not Stretch and stream, because man, do I go in. And at first I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to start talking about this. And then my one friend was like, no, keep going. It's interesting. I'm like, all right, if you asked for it, like, here we go. That movie sucks.
I had no plans on watching it.
Yeah,
I literally could care less about Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. I could not care less about it.
Yeah, it's that movie is just, I can sum up that movie in one word. It's just unfortunate. Like, I didn't think it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be that terrible.
Yeah.
Fuck that movie.
So I want to address some of these comments.
Oh, what's going on?
Blah, 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 blah. Herberder. So let's see. I remember back when you used to be friends with Zazabar, you did a movie review with Gorazard and of Avatar. Yep, I was in middle school when I did that. Actually, no, I was a freshman in high school. Never mind, I was a freshman in high school when we did that. Yeah, we used to do this show where we used to watch a movie and talk about it. And then the last 30 minutes of the show was always us talking about an interesting unmade movie. Unmade movie, meaning it was in production hell or whatever, but it was an unmade movie. And every episode, we picked a movie. So, like, one episode would be Bill, one episode would be David, and then one episode would be me.
Okay.
Yeah, that was before Bill Wurster fell off the deep end and quit life.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, he went to Five Towns with us.
I don't think I met him then, because the name does not. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
But yeah, well, there was an entire crowd there for a while that I used to hang out with a lot, and they got me into YouTube. It was like him, Kaiju Noir, on here, and then Gorazard, and I don't associate with them anymore. It's kind of an sad that the thing when I had my falling out with them, I don't really blame myself for. I blame external things from other people, and then I just walked away. And then this other group that I had immediately after that, I fucked up completely. Like, it was me, 100% who fucked that up, and I will never get those people back in my life because of how bad I fucked up, and it's sad. You know, like I have a hard time watching that material because I missed them, but it's the seed that I sowed, you know, and I'm reaping it.
It's important you recognize that too, because I'm not saying that's like a negative thing either, because it's like there's people who don't recognize that, and it's not good.
And it was. It's hard because we used to be really good friends and everything like that, but I fucked it up.
I got it too.
I fucked it up big time. My fucking big head and arrogance, which has also fucked me up since then too. So you know, a good kick in the ass helps sometimes. I never actually saw Avatar 2009, says I, in full until a week prior to the release of Avatar 2. Why aren't we talking about Top Gun Maverick?
I actually haven't seen Top Gun Maverick.
Neither have I. But
I've heard it's good though.
I'm just impressed. It actually felt like filmmaking because they were like, we're going to do crazy stunts, no CGI. And I'm like, that's cool. That's cool.
That's also Tom Cruise, truthfully. That definitely
that guy is fucking insane, but I gotta tell you, kudos on him.
Honestly, yeah.
Really
I
big
agree with you
kudos
totally
on
that
him.
sentiment. Yeah.
You know, that's awesome. The fact that he's willing to take such crazy risks for his work. That's awesome.
There was too with Tom Cruise, when they were first starting up filming for movies again post COVID. I know there was a thing that came out with him freaking out on set.
Yes.
About it, and honestly, when I listened to that, I was like, no, he should not get flack for this because he's making such a legitimately good point here. It was
Are you thinking about the Tom Cruise one the Christian Bale one?
No, the Tom Cruise one. The Bale one's just hilarious.
Oh,
that was Terminator Salvation. That was just funny. Because he's talking about like we're all trying to get back on our jobs and to get this working. And I'm like, I can't really find fault in what he's saying here.
Yeah.
Like, because people weren't following protocol about it. I'm like, yeah, no, you should be following protocol about this, and especially during that current period in time. Anyway, but that's my spiel for that. I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick. I definitely want to, but I honestly, truthfully, haven't seen the first Top Gun.
Well, to me, the Top Gun Maverick reminded me visually, anyways, of this really interesting movie that's not very good, but it's really interesting. And I bet you no one has talked about this movie anywhere in the world except for right now. It's called Stealth.
I know. I remember Stealth.
Yes, but I don't think anyone has talked about it since it came out.
Yeah, I guess that's.
I loved that movie.
I remember it, but I also don't remember it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just an AI. It's an AI jet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love this movie. I loved it. and I guess everybody else in the world hated it, but I thought it was good. Yeah. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
What was it like? I get that confused. What was there was one called Eagle Eye or something that was what was that one again?
Give me a moment.
Who was in that one?
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, LaBeouf was in that one. I wasn't sure.
I love how I just call him Shia LaBeouf now, even though it's LaBeouf. But yeah, that movie was a bomb.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh no, it wasn't. Yes, it was a bomb.
Yo, shout out to A for following me on Twitter. I really appreciate it.
Fucking John Glenn wrote the screenplay for that? Oh no, it's not. It's not the John Glenn I thought it was. Never mind. I thought it was the John Glenn from the James Bond movies.
James Bond is a series I have no input on. I really haven't watched it enough to have any input on.
I gotta make sure. I don't think his name. No, it is. It's John Glenn. The John Glenn from Eagle Eye has two N's in Glenn. The John Glenn from and director and cinematographer and editor from a lot of the James Bond movies has only one N. So I wasn't wrong. They both have basically the same name.
Yeah.
Adam prefers to watch classic dinosaur films like Dinosaurus and The Valley of Gwangi than anything Jurassic World related. Yeah.
That's respectable.
Fucking Valley of Gwangi is my shit. Valley of Gwangi is literally my shit because it combines two genres that I love. I love westerns and I love dinosaur and I love classic dinosaur stop motion sci-fi nonsense. And that movie was like, let's have a baby. And that's the movie that was made.
Nature is beautiful like that. Nature is just beautiful like that. It's so
beautiful. And I gotta tell you what, and I'll say this again. When I watched Valley of Gwangi for the first time, that was like the last Ray Harryhausen movie I hadn't seen. And so I was like, I think I was actually a freshman in college the first time I watched Valley of Gwangi. It was on TCM one night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really depressed. I had just come out of the hospital, and everything like that. And it was on TCM, and I watched it. And I found myself smiling like a little kid again. Like a genuine bubbliness from the movie. Everything from the music to the acting to the amazing stop motion work in that movie.
Yeah.
I was just like, I feel like a kid again. I feel like I'm watching Jason and the Argonauts for the first time.
Adam, do you want the honest truth? From me at least?
Sure.
I said this on my stream when I was talking about it too, but that is legitimately down to I was really depressed during this period and I needed a movie like this. That was how I felt about the first Jurassic World. I'll be totally straight with you. I just needed that movie in that moment, and I just was a giddy little kid during that movie. And a side of me still is I kind of defend that movie a little bit. I think it's fine.
Oh, the first Jurassic World,
yeah,
I've come to terms with. And I saw that in theaters and thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah, it's
but very fun.
I really just in the moment needed that movie specifically at that current
100%
point in
understandable.
Time, yeah, I needed that. And I still to this day appreciate it for it. And again, like I said, I think there is some good elements to that movie. I think it's not a bad movie by any means. There's some not smart stuff, as you just said. But I also think the good stuff kind of outweighs that a little bit, truthfully.
Sure.
Maybe a little bias, but...
Genuine question for you, though, Lucas.
Sure.
And I was going to ask this. growing up, were there movies that you tended to watch when you were like sick? Like you would just pop them on just because it was good, kind of like
that's a
background
good question.
And
I'm
stuff
thinking,
like that. Or is a movie comfortable enough that like you could enjoy it even if you were sick?
I mean, definitely Cloverfield for a while was that movie where I would just throw that on when I would need something on.
That's so weird because I could not watch that movie.
I know. Isn't that a weird
that is
one?
such a weird
Isn't
pick.
that so strange?
Lucas, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my god, Adam. Let's get the list going. I don't know. That's a good question, though. Like, legitimately, I know I'm saying that as like a, yes, I'm pondering. That's a good question. That's actually a legitimately cool question. Because I guess the first Jurassic Park 2 fits into that category. Because, like, that movie for a while was a movie where I had so many, like, I remember so many, like, irrelevant bullshit scenes in that movie. Like, the big tracking shot where I think it's, like, Dennis Nedry is walking to meet Dodgson at that, like, marketplace.
Yeah. And
you see, like, the chickens and everything. I remember that shot. That shot has always been in my head. And it's, like, one of the least interesting things in that movie. That's one. Fuck, I'm looking at my movies now. Like,
because I know mine.
Yeah.
Mine is such an Adam Noyce answer.
What's yours?
Monster from a Prehistoric Planet, aka Gappa the Triphibian Monster. That movie, the Japanese Gorgo, essentially. That movie, every time I got sick, I'd pop it on. Literally every time I would pop it on. Like, if I had to stay home from school or something, I'd be like, I'm watching this movie. I don't give a fuck. I'm watching this movie. And yeah, I tend to do that. What I tended to do when I was really sick, probably in like high school or later middle school and throughout high school, I started doing this. I had that 50 movie pack.
Ooh.
I had 50 war movie pack and then a 50 sci-fi horror movie pack.
Yeah.
And I would just pop a DVD from. I would literally just play roulette and just like reach my hand in like a drawer that they were all loose in.
Yeah.
And I would just grab one of the packs and pop it in.
You know, you just reminded me that I bought. There was a mall in my area that was like, it was like a really rundown mall, truthfully, but we would go there every now and then, and they had a dollar store there, and I bought a DVD, and I don't think it's here. I think I put it somewhere else, and I don't have it here right now. Oh wait, no, wait, hold on. I think that's it right here. 1 second. Bear with me.
I'm bearing with you, Lucas. I'm bearing with you.
Okay, no, that is my DVD set that I bought solely because it has the giant claw on it.
Yes, that's the only reason why you should buy a DVD set.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have the giant claw on it, doesn't matter
where did I
what
put
movie
that?
it is.
I'm kind of annoyed because I wanted to explain. I forget what it was called exactly. Maybe you might know if I describe it, but it was a Japanese black and white sci-fi film, and like the aliens were like these. They kind of like Starro from DC.
Starman.
Is that it?
I'm not sure if that's the actual title of the American version, but I think you're referring to Starman.
Okay. No, it's not this. These are like real ass. Oh wait, I think I just found it. Hold on.
Describe the movie again. Don't look up the title. Describe the movie again. I bet you I can figure this out.
It's again the visual. I only remember, and I only bought it solely because
they're
of
giant
visual.
starfish guys
with one mono eye.
It's called Warning from Space. It's not black and white. It's in color. The prints were just fucking terrible.
Warning from Space, you're saying?
Yes, Warning from Space. And it was the first Japanese science fiction film to be made in color.
Images. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it to a T. Oh, they're red?
Yes.
What the fuck?
You never noticed it. Yeah. You should, in all seriously, I think it's on YouTube as well. You should watch the HD restoration.
All right, yeah.
I'm not kidding. The quality of the versions on those DVD packs was so bad.
I believe it.
That I understand why you thought it was in black and white. It
Yeah.
is embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
I had a copy, Lucas, where I'm put myself on full screen so I can properly demonstrate this, where some of the top frame was at the bottom of the screen.
What?
So bad.
It's like they had the film unaligned.
Yes. That is 100% what it was. And
that's insane.
Patrick Galvin and I actually did an audio commentary for Warning from Space on my show Creature Feature Double Feature, which unfortunately is no longer on YouTube, but I will figure out a way to get it back online.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. But Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, even Martin said it was Warning from Space. Yeah.
Yep. Warning from Space.
Yeah,
but you see, like... you saying it was in black and white threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
Because you're like starfish people, and I'm like, I know there's starfish people in that series Starman.
Yeah, but like it's like, I guess it really, because I'm seeing like shots on like Google Images, and it's like they're very clearly black and white. Like it's.
Well, there's a lot of stills too.
True. Okay.
But the movie is, I promise you, Lucas,
no,
the film is color.
I believe you. Yeah, I'm not gonna say like
the movie is actually essentially those aliens are warning us that there's a planet that's going to collide with us.
Okay.
That's what the movie's about.
That's kind of cool.
It actually kind of reminds me of Gorath, except without the aliens.
I like
where it's a giant planetoid body.
Yeah.
Coming towards Earth. Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for the dinosaur movie 65?
I have heard, yeah, like Adam Driver is like the main character in it or something, and I've heard of it. I just haven't watched it. Truthfully.
What is this? I haven't even heard of this.
It's a new movie coming out. Like I think it's American made. I'd imagine it is.
Is this movie?
Yeah, it's just called 65, and it's like.
This movie looks like a bomb.
Oh, it was produced by Sam Raimi?
This movie looks like a box office disaster.
I kind of don't disagree with you. I'm like kind of peeping it right now. Oh, fuck. This is the trailer starts now. I hate that shit. I hate when fucking social media does that now. It's like, you get a few clips of the trailer, then it's like, trailer starts now.
Yeah, I hate that too.
I hate that fucking shit.
You ever notice how now we're getting trailers for trailers?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Isn't that fucking stupid?
I kind of don't like it.
No.
What is this hellscape we're in?
It's just crazy. Well, Lucas, unless you have anything else you want to talk about, I'm ready to wrap this up. I think we talked a good chat.
I guess I will conclude in saying, if y'all haven't watched Mob Psycho 100, please watch Mob Psycho 100. It is now my second favorite anime of all time. I'm gonna just shoehorn that into this.
Oh wait, was that the anime you wanted to talk about and not Odd Taxi?
No, I wanted to talk about Odd Taxi.
Okay.
But Mob, I mentioned Mob earlier. Mob has been ongoing for a while now, and like
okay.
It just finished because like the manga was finished. It just finished its final season. It was fucking great. I want people to genuinely watch it because I think it's just such a great fucking show. Like, watch Odd Taxi too. It's really good.
I'm very interested in Odd Taxi.
I hope you like it because I really, it's one of the few times where I really feel like I think I can recommend you this and you'll like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really all I got tonight, guys.
Alrighty. Well, Lucas, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
As always.
As always. Literally as always.
Mwah.
If you want to pimp yourself out for a little bit, go right ahead.
Alrighty. Hi everyone. Well, actually, let me do how I do it on my actual fucking channel. Hi everybody. This is Lucas, your little local funny man. I have a channel called Pow Pop. I do streams there. I'm in a small, I don't want to say like hiatus because that sounds like worse than it actually is. It's not, it really isn't. I'm just taking, due to some life stuff and just in general of the new year, I am just taking a few weeks just to prep the new stuff. I think the first thing I'm going to do when I come back is I've been putting it off because I've been scared to do it. Because I've never beaten Sonic 3 Knuckles. I'm probably going to do that stream finally. Because I'm just super intimidated by that game. So there's that to look forward to.
You should be.
Yeah, more. Well, I've never beaten it. That's the whole thing. It's like I've never beaten it. I'm currently doing a series. I'm playing Pac-Man World Repack and Klonoa 2 from the Riviera series collection that came out. But I've been replaying since the 1-year anniversary of it came up. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. I'm playing it with a twist. The brightness is down and like it's I call it the dark run. I've been really enjoying it and just re-experiencing that game. I have a huge that game is basically kind of embedded into my DNA with my current social media presence, and I'm okay with it because I genuinely like that game. Then I also have a Twitter at L Scribble Shack. I post art there. I actually posted 2 really big pieces I worked on towards the end of the year, and like initially like. The big one was I finally finished. I made art of Doomslayer from Doom Eternal, and like, I had to like put that on hold for a while because it was just stressing me out too much. But I finished it, and while it didn't take off initially, Past few days, a big like Doom fan page shared it, and I've been getting a ton of likes on it, so I've been really happy about that. But yeah, I checked my art out there too. I would really appreciate that, and there's more to come with both El Scribble Shack and Pow Pop, so be on the lookout for that. That's really all the stuff I got to pimp right now.
Well, I don't really need to pimp myself out because it's my goddamn channel. But it's my goddamn channel, Lucas.
All right, jeez, I'm sorry.
Thank you all so much. I'm looking forward to 2023. It's been a hectic few years. 2022 in particular was very taxing on me. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get things off the ground. Do expect a lot more. I'm really trying to get back into one video per week thing and one live stream per month thing, you know. So be looking forward to that. Thank you all for watching. The comments weren't as active as sometimes they were, but we had pretty high viewership the entire episode, or the entire live stream. So thank you all so much.
Sorry my internet died at one point.
Yeah, how fucking, yeah.
I know. I'm the worst.
Asshole.
I know. Drama alert, everyone.
Drama alert.
Oh,
anyway.
Weeboo.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Lucas, thank you so much for joining me. And we will see you.
I have one last thing to say.
Oh, okay.
Octagonal diagonalizer. All right.